Ladies and gentlemen, what is up, Buffalo? Z-Bot Rico. It's Rico and Bot on the BF Postgame Show. Coming off another instant classic in one of sports' all-time great rivalries. The 10th edition of Mahomes v. Allen. And it's all tied at 5 apiece. The Buffalo Bills improved to 6-2 and knocked the Chiefs to 5-4, winning at home 28-21 in a game that had it all. We've been waiting for the Bills to have a statement outing against a top team in all facets. And ladies and gentlemen, you just saw it in the late afternoon window of Week 9, this 2025 NFL season. Rico, talk to me, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we put BTA to these Chiefs. Now, the score may not indicate so, but if you watch the game from start to finish, it felt like the Bills were in absolute control from start to finish. Now, did we have a couple lapses here and there? Yes. But folks, this defense really showed me something, because that was the biggest thing that I needed to see. Will this defense be able to slow down the Chiefs enough for the Bills to do what they need to do offensively? Because we know offensively we've been kind of shaky. If they don't run the football well, will we be able to pass the football? Well, you saw what Josh did today, right? 3 incompletions only?
Man,
Are you kidding me? The defense, absolutely. And it wasn't just the defense, folks. It was the amount of pressure that the front four was just giving this O-line work. They were giving that KC O-line work. So I'm absolutely thrilled about this win. Did I think we were going to win this game? No, I did not. I thought this was going to be one of those here we go again moments, but here come the Bills to pull it off at home against a very hungry team. The Kansas City Chiefs, let's not get it twisted. They were hungry. They wanted it, but the Bills were a little hungrier this time. We had the dog in us, and the dog was a barking. The dog got to barking. Woo! You tell me how you felt about watching that game. Were you on all fours, or were you more relaxed watching this game?
I'll tell you what, how could you be relaxed in this one? Have you ever been relaxed when the Buffalo Bills take on the Kansas City Chiefs? This iteration of the rivalry was no exception. Just when you thought you could ease the seat back, relax, and glide to an impressive W, 4th and 17 comes around the corner. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about everything. We'll talk about how impressive this Buffalo Bills D not only was against the Kansas City Chiefs, but has been, folks. This is now becoming a trend, not the outlier, where we watch this Bills D really turn things around at the halfway point of the Atlanta Falcons game. They have not looked back. James Cook continues to be one of the best offensive players in the NFL. The one thing we were looking for in Bills Chiefs was, could Josh Allen have a statement game? Could Josh Allen silence the critics, silence the doubters, with an array of criticism coming down on this pass offense, on Josh Allen and his performance up until this point? He puts together one of the best statistical performances of his entire illustrious career. He sets a new franchise record in this game for completion percentage. 23 of 26. An unbelievable game. 23 of 26 for 273, 3 total touchdowns. Rico, you and I, we didn't have the faith. We didn't think the Buffalo Bills were going to win this game. We said, we'll believe it when we see it. We saw it in the late afternoon window of Week 9. We saw these Buffalo Bills outplay the Kansas City Chiefs really from start to finish. And despite leaving the door open a couple of times when you thought it was going to get slammed shut, they did not break. They bend, but they don't break. That's been the moniker of this Buffalo Bills defense under Sean McDermott. Unfortunately, we've seen some breaking as of late, but within the last couple of weeks, this team has eradicated that. They are now continuously week in and week out showing you why they're the top running offense in the NFL. And if they can get a performance like they got from Josh Allen in this one, the tight end performances, what have we been saying? This offense, it's Josh Allen, James Cook, and Dalton Kincaid, who has become the X factor of the passing offense. Today, you saw that on full display with Dalton Kincaid, 6 catches, 101 yards, the opening touchdown of the football game. The biggest takeaway of all was the pressure the Buffalo Bills defense was able to put on Patrick Mahomes. The Buffalo Bills have never put Mahomes under duress quite like they did in this particular outing. They've never been able to do it. And this is with Ed Oliver out. We'll talk about it later. The unfortunate reality of this amazing W is losing Michael Hoecht, who looked like he was becoming one of the stars of this defense despite just joining them off the suspension. But even with Oliver out and even with Hoecht going down, Joey Bosa off the charts, everybody playing their part, not to mention the back end. Cole Bishop, here's your crown. You are the MVP of the Buffalo Bills defense in week 9. Maxwell Haristen, welcome to the NFL. In just your second game, you pick off Patrick Mahomes in one of the most pivotal points of the football game. Rico, if we get this team, this is the team that came into the year favored to be Super Bowl champions, favored to get the 1 seed in the AFC, favored to be one of the best teams in the NFL. You saw one of the best teams in the NFL on display for really a full 60 minutes of football against the Kansas City Chiefs, 6-2. We said, win or lose, hopefully a win. But we said, Rico, we got to have this team prove something to us. And if you didn't walk away from that game feeling as though the Bills proved to you they can step up against the league's best and when it matters most, I want to say that I am cognizant of the fact that the Buffalo Bills have done this routinely, where they beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season. But we didn't have the confidence level going into this game that we've had in years past going into these Chiefs games. This was different. The Bills had not shown you the capability to put together a game like they did this afternoon. They just did that. An incredible performance. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills. 6-2, now just hanging around the outside of the top of the AFC. Meanwhile, sending the Chiefs, Rico, to 5-4 with the Broncos winning late to go to 7-2. A massive game in terms of swinging things in the AFC, and the Bills are on the right end of it. Let's go.
Let's go. And let me tell you about Let's Go. Let's go, Sean McDermott. You want to know what? We're going to change McDermott's name to Sean McGlasses, because Sean with the glasses is calling shots. He's calling plays. He's dialing it up. My man said, you know what? Hey, baby Babbage, take a chill pill. Daddy's got it. Let me call these plays and let's get this thing cracking. Today, Sean McDermott had these Bills prepared, ready to go. The pass rush, winning one-on-one matchups. Joey freaking Bosa, Greg Rousseau, Michael Hoecht at the beginning of the game. Folks, these guys were dialed in. And you know what I want to see? I want to see a little more of fire. And that's exactly what I got from Mr. Cole Bishop himself, a.k.a. Tupac Juice. This brother was all over the place, cracking ribs, getting past his defense, and actually being present on this defense. You'll love to see it, but what I loved most about it is McDermott getting aggressive after Andy Reid, and knowing exactly what when you see veteran coaches that know tendencies and know where they want to go, this is why guys like McDermott, call it what you want and say, oh, he's this, that, and the third. But when push comes to shove and he takes over the play calling, it's a different defense. And that's exactly what we saw today. Having Mahomes at less than 50% completion percentage, are you kidding me? That is unheard of. It's unseen. We haven't seen anything like that before. And I'll take it. Every time that we can actually provide something of that nature, I'll take it every time. Not only that, you got Pat Mahomes going 50%, no touchdown passes. Did I stutter? No touchdown passes for my guy today. And on top of that, keeping this offense at 100 yards, less than 100 yards. What a display of defense for these Bills today. And you can't say they didn't have this guy. They had Xavier Worthy. They had Rashee Rice. They had Travis Kelce. They had the whole shebang. They had Kareem Hunt. I know they didn't have Pacheco, but Pacheco to me isn't anybody that you should be sitting there worried about. The point is the defense came and brought the thunder to the Kansas City Chiefs. And for a minute, Andy Reid was kind of like, okay, so let me see how deep into my bag I can go. but it wasn't deep enough because these Bills were on that ass today. They were absolutely on the ass. And what was really intriguing to me was the fact that we kept these boys to under 325 yards of total offense. This is a Kansas City Chiefs team that have won 5 or 6 games. We kept these boys to under 325 yards, and we got the ball in our hands. 25 minutes of time of possession for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills, 35. We controlled the clock. We played good defense. We ran the football, and we were efficient with the football. Josh going 88% completion percentage, 23 of 26 against Spagnuolo of all defensive coordinators. Big thumbs up to McDermott, a.k.a. Sean McGlasses, because he came through and handled his business. However, we got to talk about it.
Save it. Save it.
Save it.
Let's savor it. We got a couple things we got to talk about. No question about it. We will get to it. No question. I can't rain on our own parade just yet because
all right.
We got to march down the street a little bit here because this was such an impressive win. You mentioned this, Rico. You said, man, Mahomes 15 of 34, less than 50% completion percentage. This is unseen. Well, the reason you thought it was unseen, Rico, it's never happened before. This was the worst completion percentage of Patrick Mahomes' entire career. Meanwhile, Josh Allen on the other sideline finishes with the best completion percentage of his entire career, a franchise record for completion percentage in a single game for the Buffalo Bills, beating his own record. You go into this football game, Mahomes has been significantly outplaying Josh Allen in terms of the numbers. Number 1 fantasy quarterback, leading the MVP race. Really has been the best quarterback in the NFL up until this point. Meanwhile, Josh Allen, coming off the MVP in 2024, has not been able to put together a string of games or a recent game outside of the ending of the Ravens game where you looked at it and said, man, 17, that's why he's the reigning MVP. That's why this Buffalo Bills team is so feared around the league. That's why they are expected to do better than the majority of teams in the NFL. He goes out in this football game in balls. He was not afraid to throw the ball deep. He got the ball to his tight ends beyond just the line of scrimmage. He was slinging the football around in a way that we have not seen up until this point. He was willing to use his legs, not frequently, but at times. He didn't bail out of the pocket as early in this game as I thought he had in the past. I thought he was very efficient with the football. Of course, I think that. You can't not be efficient when you finish 23 of 26 for 273. The re-implementation of the tush push, I'm so happy they said to hell with the end arounds, to hell with this, to hell with that. We got a freak at quarterback. We got a stout offensive line. They were able to exercise the demons of the failed tush pushes of the AFC Championship in this game. How many times did they run it with success this afternoon? They balled out. This game, you want to talk about a cylinder. I bring up the pie chart every now and then. This game really had it all. There was a couple of moments, right? We'll talk about it. The missed field goal, a couple too many screen passes for my liking. What else is new? Maybe wanting to give the ball to James Cook a bit more late. They gave it to him a ton, but maybe you wanted to give it to him a little bit more. The 4th and 17. Sure, this game still had its moments, but it did not waver the Buffalo Bills being the better football team throughout the football game. Really, they never lost control of their grip on this game. And that's the key, because against the Chiefs, they've done that in the past where they've been the better team for a significant portion of the football game. And it winds up collapsing underneath of them, not in this football game. I mean, the little things that they did, you want to talk about like the moments in this game that they capitalized on. How about right before the half, you allow the Chiefs almost instantaneously to get on the goal line. And this defense that's had a million question marks surrounding it, they stuff the Kansas City offense right on the 1 yard line, hold them to a field goal. How big was that in terms of the grand scheme of the football game? Had they gotten a touchdown there, the ending of the football game could look a hell of a lot different. Then they come out of the half, immediately force them into a 3 and out. The pressure that they got on the Chiefs offense today, the ability to get after Mahomes was unbelievable. They have not been able to do that. You could argue it's one of the biggest reasons as to why they've lost so many times to this team in the postseason. The Bills put up points offensively, but they allow the Chiefs on average to score 30-plus points in the postseason. The Chiefs coming into this game, Rico, 5 consecutive games of 28-plus points. They hold the Chiefs to 21. Just a single score in the second half, 2 scoreless quarters of the 4. This Buffalo Bills defense, whatever Sean McDermott did when he quite clearly took over at halftime of the Atlanta Falcons game, has been working to perfection. This defense over the last, what would you say, Rico? Maybe over the last 10 quarters has been playing some of the best defense in the league. And now you're watching stuff come together. You're watching the young guys and Bishop and Haristen step up. This D-line step up despite the injuries. Obviously, James Cook doing what he's been doing. And then Josh Allen. It was the last piece coming out of the bye in the 2 losses, Rico. We were waiting for Josh Allen to show, okay, I'm back. This was the best spot to possibly do it. If Josh Allen came back and dominated against the Dolphins next week, you'd be sitting there saying, yeah, but Josh Allen always cooks the Dolphins, whatever. No, this was against the Chiefs in the marquee game of the week where a win or a loss could really dictate the way the season goes from here. Shout out to this entire unit. You mentioned it, from Josh Allen to Sean McDermott to everybody in between. The ability to put a collective game together, complementary football. This was the best football the Buffalo Bills have played in a long time, and it resulted in a massive, massive W.
I can't stress it enough. And you mentioned it, and it goes back to that fourth quarter. The goal line stance. And I say goal line stance because we kept these team from scoring 7 and kept them to 3. But the point of the matter was this was a very potent offense, very good in the red zone, and they don't. When you have a guy like Andy Reid and you have a guy like Pat Mahomes, very rarely and very seldom that they're not coming away with 7. And the fact that this Bills team, without DaQuan Jones, without Ed Oliver, and having some guys kind of shift around and move things around, and we were still able to be a unit, one band, one sound, and get these guys off the field was amazing. What a way to actually get these guys off the field, take those 3, and away we go. This defense today showed me maybe it can be trusted. Maybe, just maybe, with the right play calls and the right person calling the plays. And I'll say it right now, if McDermott continues to call plays going forward, I think this defense will be right where they need to be. Will be just fine. And I think maybe if we see the results and the results are clear, you got to keep this up. You got to keep this up. Now, I got to say this, man. Cole Bishop. It was really nice to see Cole Bishop step up and make plays. He didn't look like he was just there. He looked like he was right where he needed to be, knowing where he needed to be. The play that he broke on Travis Kelce, broke that play up. Oh, he looked back. He knew where he was supposed to be. He looked back and saw this is where he wants to go. Came in, broke that play up. You love to see it. Although the pass was a little off, but the point is he knew where he needed to be, and he was right there. Big time play by Cole Bishop. And only in his second year? Yeah, this is what you want to see. Guys coming in and knowing where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to be, and playing fast. Playing fast was the biggest one. When you look at the receiving core for the Kansas City Chiefs, although we know Pat Mahomes did not do well today, 15 of 34, under 50% completion. That's actually wild to me. 250 yards passing in the air. He had 1 interception and obviously taking 3 sacks. But look what happened today, folks. Rashee Rice, he was cooking in the first half, but after that, other than that big play that he had in the second half, not a whole lot done in the second half. Big time adjustments done by the defense. Rashee Rice, 4 receptions. Hollywood Brown, 2 receptions, 2 big receptions, though, for big yardage, right? Travis Kelce, 4 for 66. He had that 4th and 17 that he caught, which was absolutely wild. We can talk about that later on. But what I love to see is that Xavier Worthy, the guy that, most Bills fans are like, man, that's the guy we should have grabbed. And that's the guy listen, there was none of that. He got somewhat, like I'd like to call it, erased. 3 receptions, 23 yards off of 7 targets. Guess who majority of the game was covering that mother?
Thank you.
Maxwell freaking Harrison. How nice was it to see number 31 on the field going stride for stride with Xavier Worthy, one of the fastest, if not the fastest guy in the league. Well, guess what? We got the remedy for you boys. So you can't just kind of stretch the field and try to take someone over the top. We got someone just for you. And Max Harrison answered the bell. And not only did he answer the bell, not only did Pat Mahomes try to go back to Max Harrison, my man was right there in the wings waiting for that interception and took that football away. And that's why you bring guys like Max Harrison to this team. Speed, juice. So the real question now becomes, how much more of this can we see from Max Harrison? He hasn't even hit his stride yet. This is actually fantastic. So now we got 2 corners that can handle the build. Max Harrison showed that he can do it. He showed a little bit last week, showed more this week. You got Christian Benford on the other side. Cole Bishop's coming into his own. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, is this defense coming along? Is it too soon?
No.
Is it too soon to be excited? Or did you see enough that you needed to say, I think we're back? McDermott calling defense, McDermott making these play calls. I think we're back. The pass rush is there. Joey Bosa looked good. Greg Rousseau looked good. Ladies and gentlemen, this defense could be trusted. It looked like it last week against the Panthers, and we said, well, it's the Panthers. We ran for over 200 yards rushing. It's the Panthers. Well, the Panthers just took down the Green Bay Packers today. So
damn right.
Panthers, maybe this defense is back. And that is a great thing for this Bills right now, because we need the defense to be as hungry as ever, because we're about to make a run, baby. We're about to make a run, and we need that defense. Next up, the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins. And who knows what they're going to do, because they got to get rid of Jalen Waddle. Could we get Jalen Waddle in this? I don't know. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me. So we'll see how this all plays out. But not to get too heavy into this, but it was really nice to see the defense show up today and limit the Kansas City Chiefs, the big bad Kansas City Chiefs, to under 325 yards of total offense. Big job done by McDermott and this defense.
Since the halftime break of the Atlanta Falcons game, this Buffalo Bills team has allowed 33 points. They've allowed 33 points, and they have looked elite. The pass rush has looked phenomenal. You're looking at a game against Carolina, and you're thinking to yourself, well, it's Andy Dalton. He's got a full foot out the door to retirement, right? I mean, like, what are we making of this? Is it really that impressive? 7 sacks, sure, it's great, but, you know, it's the Panthers. Yeah, they're fine, but they're not great. It's Andy Dalton, whatever. This team today, there's no team that cooks pressure like Kansas City on their offensive side of things underneath Andy Reid, led by Patrick Mahomes. That team is known to absolutely destroy you when you send it. They were all over Mahomes today. 3 sacks, 15 quarterback hits, Rico. 15 QB hits. You're without Ed Oliver, who I got everyone telling me this Bills D will not be able to overcome the loss of. And I'm looking at the Panthers game and I'm thinking, look at Ed Oliver. I'm a huge fan. I mean, this dude, when he's on the field, he's a problem, right? But I'm looking at him going down in Carolina. They didn't miss a beat. And you come into this game and they got after Mahomes in a way that they have not gotten after him in all 10 matchups. I mean, seriously, this is what you've been waiting for forever. We constantly say Bean's been trying his best to find a way to offset what Mahomes and Kelsey and Reed and this offense can do against a defense that's incapable of getting after the passer. And the ability to not only get after the passer, but be effective. You know, you mentioned Maxwell Haristen, you mentioned Cole Bishop. How much were they allotted to have a successful day based on the pressure Mahomes faced? I look at the interception for Harrison. He's got a guy right in his face. Mahomes just launches it up in the air. It's intercepted. Cole Bishop, a couple of great plays. It's aided by the ability to get after Patrick Mahomes frequently throughout this game. I mean, even in the end, Mahomes, who has an arm that's just as much of a rocket as that of Josh Allen's, he could not even get the ball to the end zone because of the pressure faced on that final attempt with 3 seconds left. The collective effort in this football game. I don't want to sit here and act like I know there'll surely be a Chiefs fan in the comments when we're done saying that the annual Super Bowl W for the Buffalo Bills. Enjoy it. The reason why this one means more to me, it's not because the Bills beat the Chiefs. I can promise you right now, a Bills win over the Chiefs means nothing to me in terms of what I think the Bills are going to do against them in the postseason. I'd be a fool to think that it does. But what this game showed me is that the Buffalo Bills, who have really not strung together a complete football game, the Buffalo Bills in this spot, where if you lose or win, I'm telling you, the difference in a win and loss in this game, guys, the Chiefs are 5-4. We are at the halfway point. They are 2 games behind the Denver Broncos in this division as it stands right now. Meanwhile, you got New England stacking wins. I mean, this game was just so big. And for them to go out and overcome the obstacles, a 4th and 17, right before half, they get down to the 1-yard line, a missed field goal, whatever. You saw an unreal performance from Josh Allen, an unreal performance from these tight ends, an unreal performance from the offensive line, an unreal performance from James Cook, an unreal performance from your very young secondary, an unreal performance from a makeshift defensive front that continuously changes each week with these injuries. This was an impressive win far beyond just beating the Kansas City Chiefs. This was an impressive win because the Buffalo Bills just showed you what the Buffalo Bills should have been all along, what they're capable of. You watch this game and you know that the Buffalo Bills, should they be able to channel that type of play, are capable of beating any team in the NFL at any given time. That's what you needed to see. And I don't think we saw that up until this point. And the ability to do that against a team like Kansas City is damn impressive. And it has ignited the confidence within us. Whether it finishes the way we all want it to, we all know we've been down this road before. But you can't tell me that you didn't go into this game with more apprehension than you have had in years past. The Bills did a hell of a great job against the Kansas City Chiefs, alleviating that tension, alleviating that stress, and showing you, hey, if we're clicking, we're clicking. The Bills look like one of the best teams in football this weekend.
I'll tell you, man. You mentioned it, and I don't want to dive into it too hard right now because it just is one of those moments where I want to take this game and say and enjoy this one, because I think Bills fans needed this. Did we not need this game?
We needed it, and they needed it too. Like collectively,
yes,
everybody needed it. Yeah,
we needed this because it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, we had those 2-game stints where we lost it. We lost to the Patriots. That was a nasty one because we don't want to lose to a division foe. You don't want to lose to the Patriots of all teams. Then you lose to Atlanta, and you're like, that looked nasty. And now you're starting to hear and see your errors and your mistakes magnified. And now the offense, we're bickering with each other. We're saying it's this guy and it's that guy and it's this and it's that. And then you get a win against the Panthers, a quality team. They're like, okay, but I don't trust it. And then you take down the Chiefs. This was a big win for the Bills. This was a big confidence booster, not only for the fan base, for the team, but Josh playing near flawless football. He had 3 incompletions. One of them was a throwaway. One of them was an incomplete pass to Khalil Shakir, and the other one to Jackson Hawes. Folks, this boy was on top of everything. So you love to see it. It's one of those things where it was just good for the fan base to have a win, have a team, and now we've got momentum because it was a big opponent win. So now you take that momentum into the Miami Dolphins, a division team on top of that, and now you've got some steam. And then you hate to see it that, well, the Bills always do this, right? They lose a couple in the middle of the season, and then they go on a run, and then that's what it is. Although it did happen the way it did, this was a crucial win for the Bills. It was much needed, and it just felt like, I don't want to say that we're back, but it felt like we're on our way to being back of one of the top teams. The only time I think I feel that we will be back is when we regain rightful first place position in the AFC East, and I can say we're back. And guess what? The number 1 seed is still in it's in play now, boys.
Oh, it's wide open. It's crazy.
The number 1 seed is absolutely in play. Like if you're looking at what's taking place right now, take a look at this, folks. If the playoffs were to start today, look at the AFC. The Colts are the number 1 seed for now. Patriots number 2. Broncos 3. 4 Steelers. 5 Bills. 6 Chargers. 7 Jaguars. Look at the Chiefs in the 8th spot. Texans 9th spot. These are teams that play. Ravens. Bengals. Are you kidding me? And the Bengals taking a loss today was a bad loss for them. That's one they could not afford, and that they did. The Ravens are very much in it. They can still come out and take the top spot in the AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, that's on our schedule this year too. So this is wide open, absolutely wide open. So folks, let's not sleep just yet. The Bills are very much still in it, and to take that number 1 seed, but one game at a time. When they asked Josh Allen today after his, I think it was Danielle Rossini or Deanna Rossini.
Diana, yeah.
How does this feel? How does this win feel? And you know what? I knew the answer was coming. I think we all knew it. 1-0. 1-0. But what a big 1-0 this was. This was a huge win for the Bills. They absolutely needed it. Now it's about stacking wins, stacking performances. And were we flawless everywhere? No. But we did what we needed to do at the right moments, at the right time, stopping the football. I mean, look how much we've grown. Hail Mary going to the end zone. I didn't see anybody trying to catch that football, trying to get interception. Everybody was like, bat that thing down. And that's exactly what it looked like. It looks like the Bills are maturing before our eyes. And I just can't get over the fact that McDermott, there's such a big difference with McDermott calling plays and Babish calling plays. So how do you go back? How do you go back to the old ways? You got to stick with what's been working. And McDermott calling those plays is great. So now the question now becomes, how many more of these can we do? And I love to see it. Yeah, love to see it. So big shout out to the Bills. Big shout out to the defense. But I got to ask you this. Going into this game, you know how we saw it. We're like, I don't know. I'm not too sure. When was it in that game where the flip switch? Where like, you know what? No, we got this. We got this. What was it for you?
Couple of things. I think right off the bat, the ability to open the game with a 7-minute long drive and finish it with a touchdown was impressive. They opened the drive up. Josh Allen did not have a single incompletion. And I could tell right off the bat, Rico, the run game was going to be available in this game. You know, you're going up against Kansas City, who has had success stopping the run. And you could tell early the Bills were going to have the ability to run the football. They were also passing it with efficiency. They ran a couple of screens early on, and I was stunned that they weren't blown up. I thought Steve Spagnuolo was going to have that read like a book because the Bills have been running it nonstop, but it was working off the bat. Josh Allen was hitting everybody on the numbers. They were tic-tac-toeing. A 7-minute long drive was exactly what I needed to see right off the bat because we know that this Chiefs offense has been putting up points and they've been stacking yards through the air, and Mahomes has been running the ball really well. Another thing I thought about this game that was impressive, not only did they get after Mahomes, but they didn't allow – Mahomes is one of the slipperiest SOBs I've ever watched play the sport. It's not like Lamar Jackson where he beats you with sheer speed and athleticism. It's something about his game where it's almost like he's covered in oil. And that didn't show itself in this football game. Usually if you get after him, he's able to do a shimmy or something and you're looking at it and you're like, oh my God, no way. Not only did they contain him and get after him, they didn't allow him to scramble at all. I mean, he didn't do anything in the run game. He's had 13 explosive runs up until this point. They didn't allow him to have one. So right off the bat, I'm not saying, oh man, we're winning this football game, but I did say, oh, the Bills, they showed a statement in the ability to open this game up, dominating time of possession, running the football, and, of course, capping it off with a touchdown. You settle for field goals against the Chiefs. Then, of course, you wind up losing the football game more often than not. Then the Bills' defense, right off the bat, they force a 3-and-out instantly, right off of that first drive from Buffalo. So, you know, I thought from the very beginning, Rico, really, you saw the Bills' ability to kind of assert their dominance on the offensive side. And then on the defensive side, you were getting an idea that they were going to be able to get after Patrick Mahomes. And, you know, those things never really dissipated. I will give Steve Spagnuolo credit. They did later on in the game really close the gaps. James Cook wasn't running with ease the way he was in the first half. James Cook opened the game up, and what did he have? 6 carries for 42 yards at one point.
9 yards, man. He was killing it.
Yeah, he was absolutely rolling, right? And, you know, he finishes with over 100. He had a great game, but it looked like he was on pace for another 200-yard game, and they were able to kind of close that off a bit. And this is where I loved the Bills' ability to get Kincaid in action, right? Because he is their X factor. And they've also made a concerted effort to get Khalil Shakir the football, which I've also liked as well. Those are your two top playmakers. And Josh Allen took advantage of both of them with the addition of James Cook and the ability to run the football. So if we're looking at one moment, though, one moment where it said to me, Rico, I like the Bills' chances, stuffing them on the goal line before half. If the Chiefs get the ball back, the Bills go up 21-10. And in classic Bills-Chiefs fashion, with 1:20 left, the Chiefs, you get up, you go to grab a handful of Cheez-Its, you walk back in, the Chiefs are on the goal line. And you're thinking to yourself, sure, I've seen this flick before. I've been to the cinema and seen this movie a couple of times in the past, but the difference is this movie had a little bit of a different ending. The Chiefs, who have been scoring 35%, they've been scoring a touchdown on 35% of their drives. They are on the inch line, essentially, Rico, and the Bills stuff them and hold them to 3. If they get in the end zone there and potentially go for 2, it was 21-10, so maybe they try to make it a 21-18 game. Well, what do you know? At the end of this football game, Rico, maybe it's not a touchdown the Chiefs needed. Maybe it would have been a field goal where they tie it and then bring it into overtime and win the football game. The Bills' ability to close the door on them, Rico, on that particular drive and not allow the touchdown that they just scored on the previous drive offensively to get immediately erased was huge. And then to come out a half and then make them go 3 and out, where look at Monday night last week, Rico, it's 7-7. Commanders, Chiefs. Chiefs win the game 28-7. They scored 21 points in the third quarter against the Commanders on Monday Night Football. When the Bills came out a half and forced them into a 3 and out immediately, it tells you, oh, this isn't going to be a repeat of last week where the Chiefs made all these adjustments at halftime and they're just going to start rolling offensively. So in large part, Rico, a lot of it came down to what the defense was able to do in this one. And that's what really had me feeling as though the Bills were going to pull this one out. Now they of course, as they always do, They gave you those moments where you were thinking, oh, of course, this is a classic Bills Chiefs letdown, but they didn't allow themselves to let themselves down. They pulled it out. So big.
And here's what I think I like the most, and where I felt like, okay, this is a different game, is when we held the Chiefs on a 10-play drive. This was a 10-play drive. They had the ball a minute left. They're crunched. They're really bringing it down our necks there. And we make the stop and hold them to 3 points. But then they're getting the ball back in the second half. And then we shut them out in the third quarter all the way through. We had several stops. That is what stood out for me. And I was like, wait a minute. Not only did we keep them out of the end zone in the third quarter, but we put our own points on the board. Okay, this fourth quarter is going to be different. It's going to be different. And that it was. And that was the key. Now, there were some moments where McDermott was calling some timeouts where I was like, fam, why we burn timeouts? Don't be burning those timeouts now, because you know how these Chiefs can be. They come in and just like the Bills, we're out of timeouts. And now we've got the ball. The game's tied and we got no time. I didn't want any of that stuff, but we made big, crucial stops. And what stood out to me was us making big stops in the third quarter and having them have to give us the ball back and then us capitalizing. That's when I knew this game is different. It's a little different. Now, do you find the Chiefs, and I don't want to take away from what the Bills did the Chiefs look different to you, or was just a better day for the Bills? Or did the Chiefs look a little not the same? And this question goes out for the chat, by the way. Did the Chiefs look like any other Chiefs team, or were we just a better team where we executed better and we were the team that finally were in the position to outcoach the other team? Because that's what it felt like. Andy Reid got outcoached and outperformed by the Bills. Did it feel like that to you, or did you feel like, no, they're not the same? I don't feel like they're the same. How did you go about it?
Didn't feel that way at all. That felt like the Kansas City Chiefs to me, right? I mean, literally, Rico, this is the best way to put it. You know it feels like the Kansas City Chiefs when Prater misses that field goal. There's 20 seconds left, no timeouts, and you still think Kansas City's going to score a touchdown from the 50-yard line. That should tell you all you need to know in terms of what you think of this team. I've never had more respect. There's 2 teams in my life I've never had more respect for. The Tom Brady-led New England Patriots, the Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs, where it doesn't matter if there's 20 minutes left in the game or there's 20 milliseconds left in the game. You do not think the football game is over until the fat lady is singing. That is the way that these games go. I thought the Buffalo Bills were just the better football team in this outing. You know, you could go from week to week, and I don't think throughout the season the Bills have been collectively the better football team to the Kansas City Chiefs. But in this week 9 matchup, the Buffalo Bills were the better football team on both sides of the ball. And the one thing that stood out to me that maybe made you think this was a bit of a different Chiefs team wasn't because of the deficiencies of themselves, but what the Buffalo Bills defense and their offense imposed on these guys. They ran the ball right down their throat to start the football game. They got right after Mahomes early and often, 15 quarterback hits, 3 sacks. You really just don't see that against this team. Not only is it, not only do you trust them offensively to take advantage of those situations, but more than anybody, you trust Patrick Mahomes to just be able to get rid of the football and make plays happen. And guess what? Just to give you another idea of the fact that this is still the Kansas City Chiefs, they did do that. I mean, the 4th and 17, one Who goes for that there but the Chiefs and maybe the Detroit Lions? I mean, who the hell goes for it on 4th and 17 with a full quarter left to play and converts it? I mean, they did that, right? So they still had those Chiefs moments. And, once again, not only do they convert the 4th down, Rico, but they score a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion. That's what the Chiefs do. So in many aspects, the Kansas City Chiefs were the Kansas City Chiefs in this football game. But the Buffalo Bills were the better football team for 60 minutes. That's why they came out with it. They came out with the W. To me, this was more about the Bills being the better team than it was Kansas City losing the football game, unquestionably.
You are nailing it, man, because when I was watching this game and I was like asking myself, was this a Kansas City Chiefs team or were the Bills just hungrier? And it just worked out that the Bills were just a hungrier team and we knew what we needed to do. And I think we're built for this team. And that's another thing that you got to look at. We are absolutely built to play the Kansas City Chiefs. Call it what you want. That's the team that's been eliminating us for years. And we're just built for that. And we just play them well. And obviously you play this team often enough, you start to get the tendencies. You start to know what they do best. You start to see Travis Kelce. This is a Travis Kelce type play. And it looked like that's exactly what was taking place today, watching these guys go. I gotta bring this up because we're talking about this offense. We're talking about guys showing up. Sometimes you got to show love to where love needs to be shown. We've been absolutely crucial and lambasting Joe Brady. How did Joe Brady perform today? And most folks must say, you didn't perform. That was Josh Allen. Well, folks, that game plan was great. You can't say nothing bad about that game plan. The game plan was run that football like we normally do. And by the way, we ended up being the team that we are, which we run more than we pass. We ran the ball 27 times. We passed the ball 26 times. So we're still on the run more than the pass side. But Joe Brady understanding that matchups matter. Matchups matter. And he found the matchup that suited this Bills offense well. And that was targeting the linebacking and the safeties. And he went after it. And Kincaid had a massive day. But those are the things we need to see from Joe Brady going forward. Stop being cute and sexy and trying to go find the matchup, find the mismatch, and take full advantage of it. Kincaid, we drafted him in the first round. If you have to treat Kincaid like you treated Travis Kelce, like you treat a I don't know, name a tight end that is an old Gronkowski, then maybe that's who we have to work this offense through. Pierre has been saying it since the last couple of weeks. Maybe this is just an offense that is just built to go through the tight ends and not the wide receivers. So maybe you might not see McDermott go out and get a receiver. I mean, maybe he's going to. But the point is, if we settle in and actually take comfort in knowing that, okay, maybe this might be the way we run our offense, and then eventually we start working our outside receivers, is great. But Joe Brady did a great job of managing this game. If you look at what he was able to do today, I mean, take a look. Josh Allen, efficient 23 for 26, 88% completion percentage, almost 300 yards. He had 273 yards passing. Dude threw 10.5 yards a pass. Average this year for Josh is 6.7. 10.5 yards a pass. So the game plan worked. Obviously the execution worked. And you can see in the numbers. Josh had a QB rating of 123.2 as opposed to Pat Mahomes at 57.2. My gosh. That's not a good day for Pat Mahomes. But efficiency, James Cook, he didn't get cute by saying, all right, you guys get your carries here and you guys get your carries here. He understood the assignment. Keep giving the ball to the guy that's hot-handed. 27 carries for James Cook, 114 yards, 4 yards a pop. It doesn't stop. You saw where your bread and butter is. So keep going to it. Stop trying to go elsewhere. Do what works best for this offense. Dalton Kincaid, 6 receptions off of 6 targets. Shakir, 8 targets, 7 receptions, although half of those things were damn screens. But the point is, efficiency is best. He must have had 3 or 4 first downs off of these receptions. So you got to do what's best for this team. And if it's Kincaid, if it's Dawson Knox, you love to see it. By the way, biggest throw of the game, Josh Allen to Elijah Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Allen to Elijah Moore, because I think you were telling me, who was it that you were telling me earlier that made what a beautiful pass, fed it into it. I don't know who you were talking to. And I was like, man, I'm waiting for Josh to do that too. And Josh hitting Elijah Moore, I want to see more of that. I think Elijah Moore is one of those receivers that it's just going to take some time for him and Josh to build that chemistry and trust. But once we establish ourselves as we're going to run through these tight ends, I think we'll find something for Elijah Moore alongside if we do bring in another receiver in. But Joe Brady deserves his flowers for this game. Great play calling. Great job. There were seldom times where I was like, why do we run that? There were very little times that I said that. There was only one time where it was 3rd and 10.
Oh, yeah.
Screen. I was like, you could have went somewhere else other than the 3rd and 10 screen. Too predictable for me. But for the most part, great job, Joe Brady. Love to see it. Now you got to build off of it. Build off of that so we can see how great this offense can be. And man, this was nice to see. This was absolutely nice to see. Good job, Joe Brady. Love it.
Mostly agree. If this was for Joe Brady in this game, it was far more good than bad. If this was a test, Joe Brady easily passes the exam that was the Kansas City Chiefs. You mentioned it, though. Fair. That 3rd and 10 screen pass is just unacceptable. I mean, it just can't be run. I understand we can kind of overlook it because the Bills won the football game, but in no world should that be the play call. I mean, you got to try to get the ball to the sticks there. 3rd and 10, you run that screen. Look, and I understand the Bills love this screen and it sets up the rest of their offense. It seems like that's what they try to do. They try to get that screen game going to allow other things to open up. They're running it a lot. They're running it a ton. It feels like at least a quarter of the passing offense, if not slightly more, is the screen game. And if it's working, fine. And to a large degree, it oftentimes does work where they will get 4 or 5 yards, and it allows them on 1st down, which is mostly when they run it, to set things up to move the sticks. And this is how you are able to build a 7-minute drive early on. When you have the screen games gaining noticeable yards with the run game, of course, as well in conjunction, you're able to do what you did, right? You had a 10-minute time of advantage in this football game. But on that particular play, I thought it was egregious calling a screen on that 3rd down. But I understand, once again, not every single play is going to be your best play, but it does feel like the Bills do go to that well a few too many times, and I don't like to see it on a play like that. 1st down, a drive starter, a series starter, I get that. 3rd and 10, not all that stoked about it. I also do notice that in crucial moments, it does feel as though James Cook comes off the field. I don't know if that's Joe Brady's doing, if that's Cook taking himself off. I'm not entirely sure. But on 4th and 2, for instance, Rico, early in the football game where the Bills could have gone up at least 10-0, maybe 14-0, they line up in shotgun. At that point, James Cook had been averaging 6 yards per carry. They line up in shotgun and throw the ball down the field. I did not love that either. I would have liked to have seen the Bills run the football because the Chiefs hadn't shown the ability to stop it up until that point. Okay. So I didn't particularly love that moment either. However, what I did notice was that it's far easier to be complimentary of Joe Brady when I think Josh Allen trusts his O-line and trusts the players down the field, his weapons down the field, the way he did in this football game. Josh Allen uncorked it a few times, right? The one you mentioned, Elijah Moore, Dawson Knox going down the right side of the field, Dalton Kincaid a few times down the field. He also stayed in the pocket. Very seldom in this football game did Josh Allen bail out of the pocket for no reason. He stayed in it. He waited for things to develop too. Not every play was snap and immediately fire it. And then where I got to give both McDermott and Brady credit was the ability to say, you know what? I know we've been awfully critical of the tush push, but guess what? The play is still legal until it's not. We need to run it. They were refusing to run it for the entire season up until, they were refusing to run it, Rico. And how many times did they run it in this football game? They ran it a ton, and they got it every single time. So I think that Joe Brady's offense looks a lot better when you're staying in the pocket, you're letting routes develop, and you're also taking chances beyond the line of scrimmage or right within it. We saw Josh Allen do that. We talked about it a lot Friday night, Rico. We just wanted to see Allen have a bit more trust in himself, his line, and his weapons, and not be afraid to throw the ball down the field just because you win an MVP, not really having to do it.
Facts.
You couldn't have gotten a better example than this afternoon, Rico. How many passes down the field did they have in this one compared to what they've had in recent games? This had to have been the most that they had completions of 15 to 20 plus yards in a single game all season long. I'll have to check, but I can't think of another game that comes close.
And you know what? I think this might have been because right now you had Kincaid with that 47-yarder. You had Khalil on that crosser for 20 yards. You had Dawson Knox for that 30-yarder. So that's 3 big plays right there. Elijah Moore, 28-yard reception. And then you had Jackson Hawes with that flick. That was damn near 18, 20 yards.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, the Kincaid touchdown to open the game, Rico, that was 23 yards.
There you go. So 6 big plays with this team today. So I'm here for it. So whether we can say, I mean, I guess we can say it's safe to say this was just an execution issue. We weren't, obviously, and I think this is obvious, we weren't executing to the highest standard that we could. And this game, I think we were all locked in, like my kids would say, Dad, lock in. You know what I'm saying? Dial in. These boys were locked in. These boys were dialed in. They knew exactly what needed to be done. And they answered some questions. Right? There's all this air yard this, and we're not one of the top teams in air yard that. Josh Allen said, calmate. You know what I mean? Let me show you what I got. Bang, bang, bang. Six big plays against that Spagnuolo defense, which is a daunting defense. And the fact that we were able to do that, Josh had 273 yards. We had 400 total yards of offense against the Spags defense. Good job, offense. Good job, Joe Brady. Good job, everyone. This was a good, fought, hard match that the Bills needed. It's just a shame, you know what I'm saying, that we couldn't involve our receivers a lot more. When you're looking at what these receivers were, our pass catchers were able to do, think about it. Slot receiver, Khalil Shakir. Dalton Kincaid, tight end. Dawson Knox, tight end. Elijah Moore, I guess, is he a wide or is he a slot? I'm not sure. We'll call him a wide receiver, right? So Elijah Moore, 1 reception. Keon Coleman, the other. He had 2 receptions. Those 4 receptions to our tight ends out of receivers, excuse me. So we had, out of 23 completions, only 4 completions were done to receivers. Elijah Moore, Tyrell Shavers, and Coleman. 4 only. So I'm not saying this is a bad spot, but I can also see there's a lot more room to improve on that. But we saw weaknesses. We took full advantage of it. Would I like to see more to our wideouts? Maybe that question will be answered in the next coming days, because this trade deadline is coming up, and we need to figure out what we're going to do with that. So that being said, I need to ask you, sir, because I don't want to get to the other parts yet. Staying on the offense, with Hoecht, with the injury, you've got the receiver room not as sexy as we'd like it to be. Where does Bean go with making a trade? Does he make a trade? Does he go and let me focus on this defense? Shoot, let me focus on this offense. Where would you go if you're Brandon Bean, knowing the state of this team right now?
So it's interesting, right? Because it has felt like a very tight end forward team, right? The Bills are the only team in the NFL that run the ball more than they throw it. And then when they do throw it, it has felt like it is a priority to either get the ball to your speedster, your yak guy, and Shakir, or anything beyond that. The priority seems to be the tight end. And I think right now, Dalton Kincaid is your best playmaker in the pass game, and that's no secret why he led the way in this game. The ball needs to go to him. The bulk share of the receptions and targets need to go to Dalton Kincaid until teams can, take him off the field, right? Or they can take him out of the game plan. More often than not, we've seen that when Kincaid is the focal point, he does succeed. I mean, this is the best season of his career up until this point. He's been a massive impact when healthy in the pass game. Now, in this game, Josh Allen completed passes to 10 different guys, which is interesting, right? 10 different receivers. You had 13 of the 23 receptions go to Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir. That sounds about right. That's what your pass game has been. Your pass game has been the short intermediate game to Khalil Shakir. And when you are trying to stretch it beyond the line of scrimmage, it's Dalton Kincaid. And that's exactly what this game was. Now, you're looking at it, and it's a very, the way you're looking at it is awfully intriguing, because Kansas City in this one, they by far had the better receiving core, right? You have Rashee Rice, you have Xavier Worthy, you have a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best of all time, in Travis Kelce. And you saw a far less efficient passing offense. I mean, you saw Mahomes go for less than 50% completion percentage in this one. Rashee Rice had his moment, sure, but only 4 catches. Yes, 80 yards, and I thought he was very impactful, and they got him involved in a variety of different ways. Yep. But you saw on the other side of things in this game, a football team with a far superior wide receiving core not be able to capitalize on it. So does it come down to what the Bills have been doing up until this point? They just haven't been doing it all that well this season. This was how they won it last year. It was getting, 8 to 10 guys receptions, having the bulk share go to your main guys, which is Shakir and Kincaid. It just has to be executed. And in the past year, we've seen some bad throws. We've seen, maybe some poor play calling, whatever. We've talked about it ad nauseum, all the different factors. In this game, I thought you really just saw a well-executed offense where you combined the run game with the passing game in a perfect blend. That's what this afternoon felt like. But yeah, are you looking at this and kind of saying, man, like your wide receivers need to give you more? You have 1 for Elijah Moore, 2 for Keon Coleman for only 17 yards. If we're looking at what Brandon Beane needs to do, I would certainly argue that the focal point of a move being made prior to Tuesday here, it needs to be wide receiver. If there's one positional group that I'm going after, it is wide receiver, because even in the game here where Allen has an extraordinary outing, the wide receivers really were not a part of it. And if you want the wide receivers to be a part of it, maybe a move has to be made in order for that to open up. Now, Hoecht being hurt, non-contact Achilles injury, we know what that usually means. I could not be more gutted about watching Michael Hoecht go down. It felt like with all of the positives to take away from a Bills win over the Chiefs, you walk away from it with a bit of a, that frown has a little bit, or that smile has a little bit less of velocity on it, where, maybe you go from full ear to ear grin to kind of lessening up on it a bit because of losing Michael Hoecht. This guy comes out of suspension and really just no holds bar. He goes off, and today was no exception. He was right within a dominant outing from this rush defense. And it's a non-contact Rico, right? Those are the worst. You hate to see it because it's like, what could you do? You jump off the snap and you hurt your leg, or you hurt your ankle. I would have to imagine now with Ed Oliver going down, with Michael Hoecht now going down, who was supposed to be what made you feel better about Ed Oliver getting hurt was Michael Hoecht looking the way he did, and of course being back. It would not shock me at all right now, Rico, of course, if Brandon Beane's working the phones on D linemen before Tuesday because of losing Oliver and Hoecht in back-to-back weeks here. There's just no other way to put it. Absolutely just beyond bumming, beyond a bummer.
It is beyond. Well, since we're talking about Michael Hoecht, ladies and gentlemen, it has been confirmed. Mike Hoecht has torn his Achilles. He is done for the season. And what's commendable about Mike Hoecht is typically they'll go in the tent and they'll probably get carted off the field and call it a day. Mike said, nah, bro, I'm sitting on this bench. I'm going to rile my guys up. You ain't got to worry about me. I'm going to be here and I'm going to rile these boys up. And that he did. I will say this. There was something in this game. This is why I think this is such a big blow to the defense. As short of a stint that he's had with his team, he's only played one game, and that was last week. And you can feel his impact with that sack and a half that he had last week. There was a play, I don't know if you guys noticed it, where there was some kind of confusion, and he was telling Jordan Phillips, move your butt. And he was yelling at Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips got up and was like, what do you mean? He's like, get right there. You need to get right there. That's the leadership that he's shown in in the short stint. He's impactful that way, and now we lose that. That is massive, and this is huge. So obviously, next man up. That's just how it has to be. So Ed Oliver being gone for the year, he could be back as soon as the first playoff game. So that's the good news that we heard. We've seen guys come back in less time, right? So in terms of Achilles, Cam did it in less time. Cam Akers, this is completely different. So I'm not going to use Cam Akers as an example, but big blow to the defense nonetheless. But it is the next man up at the end of the day. Next man up. Where does McDermott go from here? The receiver room still has to be addressed. You still got to do it. So maybe this is a double move now. This is something they have to maybe go after Dexter Lawrence from the Giants. Maybe he's available. I heard that he's not too happy. Maybe they'll give up Jeffrey Simmons out there in Tennessee. Maybe they're selling things away. So who knows what route the Bills decide to take? But moves need to happen, and they need to happen quite quickly because the trade deadline is just around the corner. What is it? Tuesday? Next Tuesday?
This Tuesday.
It is going to be something. It's absolutely going to be something. By the way, Hoecht lived up to the hype. He absolutely freaking did. Huge. Now, there is somebody else I need to talk about, and I think we could both say Cole Bishop, ladies and gentlemen. Has Cole Bishop arrived? Has Cole Bishop arrived? Ladies and gentlemen, today alone, Cole Bishop, 7 tackles, 5 pass breakups from what I understand that Cole Bishop had today. 7 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and a tackle for a loss. Boy, was this a game that he needed to prove that he belongs in this defense. Big shout out to Cole Bishop. And here's what I have to include in this. Cole Bishop's ascension, I believe, has everything to do with the inserting of Jordan Poyer at safety. You didn't see this too much when he was next to Taylor Rapp. And this is no shame on no shade on Taylor Rapp. But when you have a guy that's done this before at a high level, has been an all-pro player, you're going to learn some things from Jordan Poyer. He may not be the same player he was, but this is still here. This is still here. Physically rolling as fast and doing all those things, it may not be there. But I think it's rubbing a long way onto Cole Bishop, and Cole Bishop is now emerging as one of the star defenders on this team. So when one goes down, another emerges. So big shout out to Cole Bishop. Bishop is looking good, looking the part, and he's aggressive. He's getting in the box. He's making tackles. He's getting deep. He's breaking passes up. These are the things we wanted to see. This guy had 4 pass breakups alone today. Weren't we just talking about this defense having very little, out of the least out of the league? Well, guess what? My man said, you know what? Let me get in there and make some quick work of this. So big shout out to Cole Bishop. Love seeing it, and we want to see a lot more of this whole situation. Now, can we only talk about Cole Bishop and not talk about the Rook? Do you want to jump in and talk about our guy, Max Harrison, and what you thought of his play today?
Yeah, it feels like you really got a double dip against the Kansas City Chiefs here. And why this matters more to me than maybe it would in another game. You're going up against the team. I mean, Mahomes since week 5 has been the best quarterback in the league, not just in terms of the presence he brings and the points they've been putting up, but statistically, he's been getting right around 300 yards per game. And I know he had 250 in this one, but when you're completing 15 of 34, you're doing something right. Obviously, they had a couple of big plays in this one. You're never going to hold Mahomes to 145 yards. It's just not going to happen. You know that the greats are going to get theirs, and they're always going to have an impact on the football game.
Right.
But when you have these guys who are going to be the future of the defense step up the way that they did against Mahomes and Andy Reid in the Chiefs offense, that to me makes it that much more impressive. You're watching a route early in the football game. Xavier Worthy's running a go route down the right sideline, and Maxwell Haristen is his shadow. I mean, he is blanketing him. This is why you draft him first round. He's the fastest guy in the combine. You saw it on that route. I texted my dad and I said, hey, because sometimes I get so lost in the game. I'm not looking for jersey numbers. It's Bills Chiefs. I'm not looking to see how many reps Maxwell Haristen's getting. You know what I mean? I'm too dialed in and I'm not having a heart attack. You know what I mean? So some of the nuances I can miss, but it hit me. I'm like, wait a minute. I said to my dad, I go, do you know how many reps Haristen's had in this game? He goes, no idea. He goes, Worthy's not doing anything. And then my dad texted me a little bit later. He goes, Worthy, I haven't really heard his name. Then it hit me. Wait a minute. That's why we haven't heard Haristen's name, because we haven't heard Worthy's name. And it was the best compliment you could have had. The fact that we didn't hear Maxwell Haristen's name really all game until that pass breakup when he was against Worthy on that go route and on that interception is because he took Xavier Worthy out of the game based on how much you expect that guy to be impacting their offense. That's when it hit me. Bingo. So that really stood out to me. Haristen, this was his second football game off of a IR-worthy injury. He's a rookie off of an injury that had him sidelined since the middle of training camp. And this is what you're getting. You saw some flashes against the Panthers. And once again, you're saying, it's Andy Dalton and this and that. This is as tough of a task as you're going to get. You're playing one of the all-time greats who's got a fully loaded offensive roster now with Worthy healthy and Rashee Rice out there. And he was Xavier Worthy's shadow. And then Cole Bishop. In a game where you have 15 quarterback hits, 3 sacks, you really dictate the line of scrimmage the whole football game. You don't allow Mahomes to scramble. You don't allow that to be part of the game. Cole Bishop was probably the best defensive football player on the field on both sides. I mean, it really felt that way. Imagine going into this game thinking that's what your takeaway was going to be. You're going up against one of the best passing offenses in the league, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. You think your main takeaway was going to be Cole Bishop perhaps being the best overall defensive player in the football game? He was everywhere. And then the ability to not only get in on that touchdown, potential touchdown to Travis Kelce in the back of the end zone, but to put him on the ground like that. I mean, Kelce's a big boy. You know, he's a big dude. You don't see Kelce get nailed like that, Rico.
Nope.
And that, to me, I'm like, damn. And then a couple of pass breakups that were big. I mean, how about even on the second to last play? Mahomes launches it. That's a pass breakup. You know, if Cole Bishop plays that wrong, you know, we're sitting here talking about another one of those games that gets a name. You know what I mean? This would have been, I tweeted it out. I said, you are on the verge of having 4th and 17 join 13 seconds on the list of unbelievable heartbreak games for the Bills that have a name. And that could have been it. But but Cole Bishop makes an incredible play there. So it's just, you're looking over the last couple of weeks, McDermott seemingly taking over the bulk share of the play call. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get an admission that he's taken it over fully, but clearly something has changed drastically. Poyer giving you good reps. You got Jordan Hancock giving you good reps. And then you have Cole Bishop, an unbelievable outing. You have Maxwell Haristen, welcome to the league, this D front. I mean, and once again, the bow on the whole package, it was against Mahomes and the Chiefs. It wasn't like you just played the Titans, right? And Cam Ward's in his rookie year and he's got no one to throw the ball to. It was against the Chiefs in a very playoff-esque atmosphere in this football game. Incredible.
I will say this, folks. Bills Mafia, we should be absolutely thrilled about the future of this Bills defense. If you're looking at what it's going to look like for the future, Cole Bishop is holding things down. We've seen good things from Jordan Hancock. Where they decide to place Jordan Hancock, we'll soon find out. Max Harrison making himself a present and known with a big pass deflection and an interception, and his first interception against Pat Mahomes, one that he said, you know what, it'd be really sweet if I can get my first interception against Pat Mahomes. Well, my boy, you got what you asked for, and you delivered. Big time performance by Max Harrison. And let's not stop there. The young Christian Benford. So you got 2 young corners, you got a young safety, you got a nickel that's coming into the fold in a Hancock. And let's not forget, we have another corner in Strong that's doing all right too. So the defensive backfield's future isn't looking so bad right now. So now you got the big 2 defensive tackles that we have in Sanders, and obviously the big fella right now in the middle of that defense. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got something with this team. We've got a little something happening right now. So Deion Walker, AJ when he does come back, Joey Bosa is looking good. Obviously, he's a veteran guy. But
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a key part right now.
For sure. Yeah. And we're going to get into that. This defense with this young core, it's giving you something to say, okay, we might have something here. And then I'll let you touch on this with Joey Bosa. I mean, it feels like we have so much guys to talk about, but Joey Bosa made his presence felt today. I'd like you to touch on that with his 3 total tackles, excuse me. What were your thoughts on Joey Bosa's play today against the very familiar he's known with, obviously, with Pat Mahomes? Talk to me on your thoughts. What did you see from Mr. Bosa himself?
My thoughts are Joey Bosa cannot get injured. Joey Bosa cannot get hurt. When you have that Oliver going down, when you have Michael Hoyt going down, right? And then you also consider Joey Bosa's history, right? He'd be the first to tell you. It's no secret. The guy, you know, when he came to Buffalo, you could tell this guy, I equated it to in Mario Kart when you hit one of the boosts. When you're playing Mario Kart, you hit one of those boosts and you get a life kind of bursted within you that you forgot you had. The move to Buffalo to him felt like it was crucial to get out of LA where it felt like it was getting stale, to go to Buffalo and not only have the ability to resurge on the field, but it really felt like he was having kind of an ability to resurge within his own personal life. I go back to when he touched on just being able to have a yard and seeing the geese in the backyard, right? Like, it just felt like he was in a spot he wanted to be in. Not to mention being able to hang out with the teammates, something he said that wasn't an emphasis when he was in LA. The reason I bring up him not getting hurt is because of how pivotal he's been to this D. And when you look at the guys that they've lost, he is so impactful right now. All you can hope is keep your fingers crossed and say, can we please have a fully healthy Joey Bosa like we've had up until this point? Because I had always said, if Joey Bosa can stay healthy, this is still one of the most enforcing presences on a D line in the NFL. The problem is he just hasn't been able to string together full seasons. That's been the issue. McDermott takes a flyer on him, brings him in, and the guy's been extraordinary. I mean, he's been off the charts, and it wasn't just in this game. It's been in several games this year. Joey Bosa has been beyond impactful, and it's been exactly what you were hoping it would be when McDermott brought him in, or when Bean brought him in. And I look at this game, and the 4th and 17 wouldn't even have happened. Joey Bosa, God bless him, he got faked out. Mahomes faked him out. Good.
Great play call.
Yes, Mahomes faked it and rolled the other way, and Bosa turned around. If you go back and watch that play, Bosa had him dead to rights. So you got to give credit to Mahomes. He really shook out one of the better defensive linemen we've seen, of course. The Bosa brothers are as good as it gets, and we know how good Bosa can be when he's healthy, Joey. And he was right there. But it wasn't just that play. It didn't go his way. He was there to make the play. It just unfortunately didn't go his way. But throughout the game, he was really impactful. Greg Rousseau has been impactful. AJ Epinesa has been impactful. So it feels like right now, with Oliver getting hurt, with Hoecht being hurt, likely both being done for the rest of the year through the playoffs, it really feels like Joey Bosa is now the primary X factor. And I'm fine with that. A healthy Joey Bosa right now has shown you he's still elite in the NFL. And he showed you it again this afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tag on that. And you want to talk about how great Joey Bosa was? Take a look at what Joey Bosa did today.
Wow, 10
total
pressures,
right? Most since week 3 of 2021.
Wow.
And that's a healthy Joey Bosa. 2 sacks, 5 hurries, 3 QB hits, and a tackle for loss. Ladies and gentlemen, we found ourselves a gem. We found pretty much what we needed from Von Miller.
Bingo.
Is what we're getting in Joey Bosa right now. So listen, take it for what you want, but this is what we signed up for. We wanted a guy that he can be a closer. We wanted a guy that when his push comes to shove, when Josh Allen does what he's supposed to do on the offensive side of the ball, I need you to close in and lock in and get me that football back and get these guys to punt. How many times did the Kansas City Chiefs punt today? I mean, they're a team that, if you go back to the playoff game, I think they punted once, if that. And today
they punted. Let me get the number for you, Rico.
What's that, buddy?
I was going to get the number for you in terms of the punts. They punted it 3 times. I mean, yeah, like that's. And the other thing too, Rico, just to add to your point.
Yep.
The Chiefs were 3 of 13 on 3rd down.
Music to my ears. Music to my ears. 3 of 13. This is when in the past, folks, we had problems getting these guys off the field. They were never punting. So they were constantly getting the ball and moving the ball at will and doing what they need to do. 3 for 13? Unreal. And here's the better shot. The Bills were 7 of 12. The Bills were converting on the opposite side of the ball and defending on the defensive side of the ball. Big day for the Bills against these Kansas City Chiefs. I got to say, man, it just feels good to come back after a win and talk about this team and talk about the positives. Because a lot of times we were saying, man, this wasn't happening, that wasn't happening, and this guy didn't show up, and where the heck is Josh? Everyone did their cliche 111th today. And the coaches did a good job. They pretty much outcoached. Spagnuolo was outcoached today. Let's keep it a buck. Joe Brady got the better hand of Spags, and these boys executed, and I love to see it. Big day for the Bills. Big day for the coaching staff. Big day for the confidence of this team. And now we take this momentum. We take this juice into next week against the Miami Dolphins. That is going to be, that's a whole nother ball game. So who knows how that's going to shake out. But big things are coming this week, man, because that trade deadline is massive. Is it a failure if Brandon Beane does absolutely nothing, is it a failure to you?
Well, we found out from Diana Rossini that he did make a bid on Chris Olave. We found out that they were in on Olave, and the Saints, at least for now, aren't looking to deal him. They didn't want to make a move. There's been rumors of an extension. People thought that was kind of a bluff on their end to try to drive the price up. But up until this point, no move's been made, and it seems as though Beane and the Bills were in on getting him, trying to acquire him, shot down. So what we can take from that is that the Bills are shopping wide receiver. That's for sure. Olave was one of the biggest names on the market in terms of guys considered to be movable by the trade deadline. Now, is it a loss? To me, there's a difference between getting a guy that you know is going to make an impact or just getting a guy, Rico, for the sake of getting a guy. Like if Beane just goes out and gets somebody, like for instance, you added Gabe Davis, who's still on the practice squad. Correct. If the Bills go and get another practice squad wide receiver, do you give Beane and the Bills all the credit in the world for making a move just because they made a move? To me, it's got to be an impactful move if a move is made. I'm not going to drill the Bills for not making any move if they were not able to acquire a guy that they felt was worthy of making a move. I don't think that they need to go and do something just for the sake of doing it. The Bills have the least amount of cap space in the entire NFL. They'd have to do some significant maneuvering. They'd also have to find a team willing to work with them. And that's tough in the AFC when right now it's as tight as it is. You have 3 teams at 7-2, the Bills at 6-2. So, it's not easy to do. I'd love to see the Bills go out and get a factor, right? Like a significant factor, whether that be on the D side of the ball or the O side of the ball. I don't know how many of those guys are waiting around. And I also don't know how many of those guys are possible in terms of being acquired by Brandon Beane based on their cap situation and based on maybe not wanting to overspend. So I don't think it's a complete failure, Rico, if they don't get somebody. I'd love to see it though. And at the very least, if they go down swinging, they try to acquire Olave, they're not willing to deal him. But I would like to see some more swings had. I like to keep seeing them swing to the fences here before Tuesday, because it's clearly obvious that you have some areas that you need to add to. Wide receiver, everybody knows. I think D-line now is certainly something, potentially linebacker where they've been banged up routinely. You look at safety, but I think right now you're probably feeling okay about that, especially after what you saw against the Chiefs. But wide receiver, it's no secret to anybody. That's certainly a place they want to add. But then again, though, Rico, if you're going to go and get another practice squad-esque wide receiver, then I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, Beane did it, man. Beane did what we were looking for. It needs to be a guy that I look at and say, oh, okay, they went all in and made something happen. But we know how difficult that is to do, especially in the situation they're currently in.
No, I totally get it. Now, there are some things in this game. I mean, we're talking all these positives, right? We're talking about all these positives in this game. Now, there are some things that I was like, I don't know about that, right? The burnt timeouts, the burning the timeouts because we're not settling. We're not getting in place. We're not knowing what the heck is going on. And McDermott being cognizant of that is saying, okay, timeout, fix your issues. But guys, we cannot, because if the Chiefs were rolling and they were just hitting on all cylinders, those 2 timeouts could have came in a crucial time and really devastated us in a loss because we didn't manage our time great. So that's on McDermott to be better in that regard. Here's my question to you. Coming near the end of the game, we missed the field goal.
Oh,
the debate being had right now is why go for the field goal? Just punt it. The game would have been just as much over as it was then. You gave these guys 2 cracks at it and in field position. Now, I get the one part is if you hit that field goal, the game is essentially done. But you let them have an ability to get a crack at the end zone. Why do that? Punt the ball, let them start at their end. They're going to kill all their time. They had no timeouts anyway. It was over essentially as well. What were your thoughts? Did you like the fact that we went for it, the field goal to just ice them? Or would you have said, punt it. Your defense is playing well. They're not doing anything. Go ahead and just secure this. What were your thoughts on that? Or did it matter to you?
If Matt Prater makes that field goal, the Bills go up by 10 and they win the football game.
Facts.
And if I had wheels, I'd be a wagon. There's a lot of ifs here, okay? The one thing that's for sure is if you punt that football, the Chiefs have field position that is no better than their own 20-yard line. You also rip off an additional, 5-6 seconds So 23, 22 seconds goes down to 17 seconds. I should have screenshotted it to prove my stance on this, but before they missed it, I was a big advocate in not kicking that field goal. One, because I know what these games have been. These games have been exactly what it wound up being. The Bills not only miss it, but they doink it. I mean, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. Where the Bills decide to kick the field goal, and they don't just miss it, but they miss it off the upright. Like, are you kidding me? Is that not the most Bills Chiefs type outcome to that? And then you have watched this team get in field goal position on you in 13 seconds. You're going to put this team at the 50-yard line, knowing what they're capable of against anybody at any time. It's one of the only teams that you've ever feared the ability to score a touchdown in that situation. I would have killed a couple of more seconds and punted it. You have no timeouts. You got to go the full length of the field to score a touchdown. I like my chances in stopping that offense from their own 20 at worst, right? I mean, maybe you pin them deeper than that. You sky the kick, you take another 6 seconds off. I would have liked to have seen that compared to what they had done. Now, if they made it, it would have been a whole different situation. But I think you could even tell McDermott knew the risk he had took. Because did you see how he was watching that kick go up, and he was like, could tell his whole body was in it. Because he knew, like, if they miss it and the Chiefs score, it's all anybody was going to talk about. All anybody was going to talk about was the fact that they kicked it, didn't make it. It wasn't a guarantee. It's a deep field goal, and you put the Chiefs in prime field goal range. You also mentioned it. The Bills defense gave you every reason in the world to trust them in this game. You had held Mahomes to the worst completion percentage of his entire career. They had no timeouts. You can milk more clock, and you can put them in a far worse field position than they would have been if they missed it, which they did. So to me, I think that there's certainly arguments on both sides here. You make that field goal, the game's over. I get that. I 100% get that. But you also have to think about this differently when you're playing Mahomes. Much as I think other teams think differently how they do things or what their strategies are when they're playing Josh Allen. You don't have an ordinary guy on the other side taking that ball over if you miss it. You got Patrick Mahomes, who has done what was on the table to be done to you in the past. I mean, hell, even back, remember when who was offsides? They were offsides on the unbelievable trick play where Kelsey pitched it back.
It was Sky Moore.
Sky Moore, right. Like, you've seen the ability for them to pull off the unbelievable.
Absolutely.
I understand the arguments completely in the chat to kick it. If they make it, then they're a genius. But to me, there's always the possibility of missing. And anytime there's a possibility of giving the Chiefs a advantage, I'm out on it. And to me, you give them less of an advantage if you kick it. But it worked out, thank God, because Rico, if it didn't, could you have imagined? Could you have imagined?
I could not. And I'll say this. There's a few things that stood out to me in this game that I loved. I can't tell you how big and pivotal a role Cole Bishop played in this game. If you guys remember before the half, when Hollywood Brown catches that deep pass and it just doesn't get into the end zone, Cole Bishop made that tackle. And that tackle led to the Bills getting a big defensive stop and having these guys kick a field goal. That's number one. I wanted to put that out there. But here's what I absolutely love from McDermott. McDermott, how often do you see Pat Mahomes have all the time in the world? Oh, sorry, it was Kadarius Toney. I said Sky Moore. Kadarius,
that's right.
That's what it was. Thank you about that. How often in chat, tell me how accurate this is, where we would not pressure Pat Mahomes. We'd let 4 guys go in and try to get him, and he's got all the time in the world to throw whatever pass he wants to throw. The last play of the game, where we probably play prevent defense, McDermott was like, hell to the no with that. I'm bringing the house. He brought a blitz that had Pat Mahomes absolutely uncomfortable, having to throw off his back foot and absolutely throw that duck of a ball, and that ended up getting batted down. Most times, we would rush 4, have everybody drop back, and he would have all the time in the world to survey of where he wanted to throw. We made sure that we did not give you the time to get comfortable. We were rushing you. And if you saw the percentage today, we pressured Pat Mahomes, 54, according to Next Gen Stats. Have a load of this, my friend. Next Gen Stats had the Bills. Where is it? 52% of his dropbacks. The Bills were pressured Pat Mahomes 52.6% of his dropbacks. 14% more than their pressure rate in any of the 9 matchups against the Chiefs in 2020.
And it's not like they were sending the house all game long either.
Buddy, what in the 9 matchups, what the heck are we doing? Put the pressure on his ass, man. You finally learned after this time, 56%. It's 14% more than we have ever done that was like in the 9 games since 2020. You kidding me? Pat Mahomes today, 3 for 16 for 61 yards and an interception when pressured. Brother, pressure his behind, man. We didn't do any of that. Last that I want to tell you that I loved, absolutely loved. Did you see AJ Epinesa absolutely devour Pat Mahomes on the sideline? Did you see that?
Yeah, like, you know what I love about that is if you're going to dance around the sideline, you should be able to get hit. Like, that's just the way it should be.
Agreed.
And I'm so glad they didn't call some BS because it happened a couple times. You know, he's hovering around the line. He's hovering around the sideline, using that almost like his own personal defense. You're still standing there with the ball in your hand. You have every right to get hit. So that happened numerous times. I mean, dude, Rico, they were on him all game. They were hitting him all game. All game.
Go ahead.
All game. I mean, seriously, I'm having a ball talking about this. By the way, Darby's saying meant to bring up this one. Casey Mule saying this stream is a lot more fun than the SNF game. What if I told you right now, Rico, the Commanders, who were in the NFC Championship a season ago, there's a minute left in the first half of Sunday Night Football. The Commanders are losing to the Seahawks 28-0.
That's awful.
So we are having a ball on here. No need for SNF when we're watching what we're watching on your screen right here, folks. We're watching greatness. Wow. What a hit.
They allowed that to happen? Are you kidding me? You know what, though? You said it back.
Oh, do it again. Yes, watch. He's still got the ball. When AJ Epinesa goes into making his hit, Mahomes still has the football.
You're absolutely right. That's
far too often, and I know, and I don't want to sound like a homer, so I will say, I know Allen does this too. He did it in this game. Allen slid and got hit on the head a little bit, and what did he do? He went like this. I mean, you got to give them credit. They're masters of their craft, but you can't throw the flag. Much like I would not have agreed with Allen getting a flag thrown on that, I wouldn't agree with it here. You can't do it. It's not fair. It's not fair.
You know what, though? If Allen were to get hit like that too, I'd say, that's what you get for rolling out. You want to be a rollout quarterback. You want to hit that sideline. You're full go. You're absolutely full go. So, but I was blown away when I saw no flag.
Yeah.
Okay, they let these boys play.
And this is the key right here. Rage is bringing up. How great were they tonight at hitting Mahomes and rolling right off? Like they never overextended the play, which I thought was great. Like you constantly saw them hit and move on. That's what you got to do. You can never put yourself in position to get burned because he's so great at burning you. He's so great at burning you, really. Speaking of weird, stuff like this, though.
Yeah.
What did you make of them throwing the flag on that intentional grounding that was tipped? And then Andy Reid challenging it, even though you couldn't challenge it, and then there not be a delay a game or a timeout as a penalty for that. Gene Steratore making it seem like you could do it, but you 100% can't do it. There needs to be some major overhaul in officiating. And this is coming from a Bills fan in this one. That ball was tipped. It should be able to be fixed by a review, and it should be moved on from there. This stuff is ridiculous to me.
You know what, man? You said it, man, because when I saw that happen, I was like, okay, so what's happening here? They clearly said that he can't do it. And now, so what are the ramifications here? What's the penalty here? Oh, you're just going to let it slide? Nah, bro. So I'm sure there's going to be some discussions amongst the NFL officials, and they'll talk about it. And they're going to say, oh, we messed up and we should have did this and should have did that. I mean, listen, we got the end result was a W, but I know Andy Reid knows the game. I know guys like Vrabel, they know the game, but hey, you got away with one. Your quarterback wasn't like there was nobody really near So when there was the right call, to be honest with you, whether I didn't really see any tip. I don't know if you saw it.
It was 1,000% tipped, and I thought it was tipped live.
I was trying to look. I was like, I didn't see it.
Well, here's what I thought was so crazy about it. They didn't throw it right away. Like they met about it. Then they threw it. Then Andy Reid challenges it. He knows he can't challenge it. Then they went over and like talked to him about it for 5 minutes. And then this is what I can't stand that Koala's bringing up. This is happening all the time. The rules expert comes on, whether it's Gene Steratore or Terry McCauley, and they'll tell you one thing, and the crew does the opposite. I get that the Bills are on the beneficial end of this one, but it can happen. It not only is bad for the sport in terms of the outcome of the penalties, it's a bad look for the Shield. I can't believe they continuously allow this to happen. You got this eye in the sky, whatever they call it, replay assist, but no one knows how it works. No one knows when it can be used and when it can't be used. And I got Gene telling me, I've never seen anything like this. Gene, I've never seen somebody challenge a penalty. What are you talking about? So I don't know what's going on half the time.
They know better than that. And listen, this is where you get a little bit of, I've been in the league long enough. I get the respect. And they showed them the respect. But you know what? The respect should have been, you can't do that. Sorry, coach. Got to get you. Got to get you. But I mean, listen, man. I'm sure this is something that they're going to talk about. That they can't just let this thing slide and let just go away. They just can't. There's something that's going to be said about this, and we'll go from there. But yeah, man.
I will say though, real quick, I thought outside of that, this crew did a good job. They did not over officiate this football game. 4 penalties. Or let me just double check here. Yes, 3 penalties, Rico, for the Chiefs.
Yep.
4 for the Bills. This is what it should be. The over officiating of this sport has gotten absolutely ludicrous. I was beyond there were a couple moments. I thought the Bills got called for a really ticky-tack hold earlier in the football game.
But in reality, give me a break.
That was terrible. That was bad, right? But Rico, we're used to seeing anymore, 8 to 10 penalties a team. You're looking at this one, 3 for the Chiefs, 4 for the Bills. I thought this was a well officiated football game. I did personally.
I agree, and they even said it. Wow, Jim, notice how this quarter just ended pretty fast. It was a quick first quarter. I will say this though, we definitely cleaned up. I mean, whether you want to call it the officials were a lot better, or we cleaned up our act in terms of limiting the penalties. But the last 4 games, 37 penalties the last 4 games.
Yeah, can't happen.
Unreal. So we really cleaned it up by having 4 penalties for 40 yards. Mm-hmm. So I'll take that all day. We did a good job of being somewhat disciplined, and being at 4 penalties. That's a win for us. That's an absolute win. And also another win for us, folks. And we got a lot of things that we need to talk about that were wins for us. Was the time of possession. We did not allow the freaking Kansas City Chiefs to dictate what they're going to do, run the ball, get first downs, because how they hold on to the football is by them just converting on their third downs and just keeping the game rolling. We limited them to that. 3 for 13, less than 30%. Are you kidding me? I'll take that. If my math is correct, less than 30%. Guys, that's amazing. This defense really came out. And right now, here's the beauty. Guys are starting to realize that this Bills defense, and you know how this is a copycat league. This is a copycat league. And what the Bills were able to do to Pat Mahomes today, you're going to see that happen the rest of the way for these Chiefs. So look out. Could the Chiefs be on the brink of not even making the playoffs? Are you kidding me? Ain't no way.
Rico, this is why this game was so big. I mean, like we talked about prior to the game, it was huge for the Bills in terms of the luxuries of the league. Yep. Where you are looking to win your division for a 6th consecutive year. You're looking for the 1 seed. What was lost in all that on the Chiefs end of things, because you don't really care about what the Chiefs got going on in terms of their ability to make the postseason. But what got lost in this, they're a game above 500 halfway through the year. This is a team that didn't lose this many games all year long last year, and they made it to the Super Bowl. Okay, they're 5-4. The Broncos are 7-2. Rico, they got the Broncos this upcoming weekend. Or excuse me, they're on the bye. The Chiefs are heading into their bye. Right?
Oof, that's tough.
I know, and we know it all too well. It sucks. Here's post-bye, Rico. In Denver, who is number 1 in the division right now with a 2-game lead. And then it's the Indianapolis Colts, who are currently the number 1 seed in the AFC. Then you play a Cowboys team whose defense is abysmal, but we know they can put points up, and that's in Dallas. Then you play a Texans team. I don't know if you've been watching the Texans, but they're playing better football. They are. They are really, their offensive line, very, very inept, but their defense is very good.
Solid.
So you got the the Texans, the Chargers, who already beat them once this year, the Broncos, and then you have the Titans and Raiders. You're giving 2 W's there to Kansas City. But, as tough as the Bills' schedule is down the stretch, right? You still got to play New England again, Miami, a divisional game. You got the Buccaneers. You got the Eagles. The Chiefs, not only is it just as tough, but they also have 2 additional losses than that of the Buffalo Bills at the exact same point of the season.
Oh, that's a tough one now. And it's like Chiefs not making the playoffs it's a reality. It's a reality, right? I wonder what their playoff chances where they're.
I got it right here for you.
No kidding. The percentage of them making the playoffs, I wonder.
67%. The Buffalo Bills currently 93%, just for reference.
93 to 67. Now you go into a bye, you lose one more. I'm sure that drops to what? Below 50%. That's got to. So that's going to be nutty in its own course. But just looking at what we've been able to do and what the Bills been able to do, what I don't want to see, as weird as it sounds, Chiefs not making the playoffs, but then them not making the playoffs, they get a higher draft pick, and now they bolster.
Oh,
but it's like, I don't care. You mean?
Go ahead and have it. Have it.
Like, you know what?
Have it. Give it to him. I mean, give it to him.
I was thinking about that. I was
Please.
like, I want them to lose so bad that I don't want them to have that either. That's the crazy part. I don't want y'all.
What would you rather have? Them have a better draft pick or play them in the wild card? Okay, which one would you rather have?
Listen, I'll see you guys. Listen, enjoy Cancun. Y'all can have start your draft process early.
Brett Veach, start hitting your mock drafts. That's fine by me. That would be fine by me.
Absolutely, but what are the chances, man? This thing has flipped upside down right now. So the Bills, obviously, they're ready, very much in it. Very much in the thick of things, obviously, to get that number 1 seed. So at one point, I was like, "Ooh, that number 1 seed might be out of reach." But the Colts losing their game today really made them come back to normal. Danny Dimes wasn't looking like Danny Dimes so much. No. So huge, very huge. You know what really annoys me though? The Atlanta Falcons these last few weeks.
I know
they have not looked like the team that beat us.
They really saved it for us in prime time, did they?
Man, not? Did they ever? I'm actually really irritated with the fact that we lost to this team. Not that they're a bad team. It's just that we had no business losing to them. No business.
Especially the way we lost to them, where they, like, the first half, they just let them do whatever they wanted. They haven't been able to do anything close to that since.
Not even close. Now,
this upcoming weekend, Rico, interesting, because the Bills play the Dolphins in Miami. I haven't seen the early line on that, but I would imagine the Bills probably around a touchdown favorite or so. The Patriots play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers off of a bye. So could the Bills be right back?
Absolutely, we
right
can.
Back
Absolutely.
there, potentially there.
Let's keep it a buck here for a quick second. So I'm looking at the Patriots, and I'm like, okay, the Patriots being 7-2. I mean, you got to wins are hard to get in this league, so you got to respect the Patriots. And then I was like, who have their opponents been? Because I haven't really been paying attention. Wait a minute, I just had the Patriots up, and then I lost their team. Hold on, where are my Patriots at? I was like wondering, who have the Patriots played that has us like up in arms of, like, you know what I mean? That's the team, and we better watch out for these Patriots. And I gotta tell you, I haven't really seen any opponent of theirs that really stands out like, oh, that's that tough team. Take a look who they've beaten, right? Obviously, they've beaten us. Obviously, that's a tough opponent. You gotta give them respect for that. But like, they beat the Raiders. Excuse me, they lost to the Raiders week 1. They beat Dolphins. Then they lost to the Steelers. They beat the Panthers. That's when they went on the run. So their run, they're on a 6-game winning streak. Panthers, Bills, Saints, Titans, Browns, Falcons. Give me a freaking break. Give me a break.
I got to give them credit because they beat the Bills, and outside of the Chiefs, the Bills don't really. This was the big win for the Bills, right? In terms of their statement on the season, you know, like, I think New England, it's been pretty similar to that of the Buffalo Bills schedule. Plus, you know, they beat the Panthers like the Bills did. They beat the Falcons, who the Bills couldn't beat. Plus, they beat Buffalo in Buffalo. I can't discount what New England's done up until this point. I can't.
F
You
them
will.
Patriots. I will discredit
I'm
it
envious of
now.
you.
You got to play. And here's the thing. They got to play the Bucks, like you said. Then they got to play the Jets. The Jets defensively have been a lot tighter. Offensively, they haven't really doing much. So who knows what these Jets are really made of, right? Then they got the Bengals. Call it what you want about these Bengals. Offensively, they're a freaking nightmare. With Joe Flacco dealing right now, they're an absolute nightmare. So that should be an interesting one. And then they got the Giants, and then they got us again.
Did you see the Bengals win today, by the way? Did you see that win? Oh, no, excuse me, they lost. They lost. My God. No, that game was insane. Dude.
Bro, and the players are lashing out. The players are like, yo, just get the job done, defense.
Yeah.
Just get the job done. All you have to do is make a stop. Just get a stop. We just came back and scored, and you let freaking Lovelace come in and Colton Lovelace and come in and do that to us? No,
dude,
man.
They scored 38 against the Jets and lost last week. They scored 42 against the Bears and lost this week.
They have every right to be upset with that defense. They have every right to be upset.
And it was the problem last year. They fixed none of it. None of it.
Here's the problem. They got rid of their defensive coordinator, which they never should have. And you're in this, like, listen, y'all messed up. Oh, you gotta. That's killer for these guys. Now the Bengals. I mean, I don't know how over it is for them. Maybe they go on a historical run. We'll see how that plays out. But at the end of the day, that's 2 years in a row that you're gonna make the playoffs because your injury-prone quarterback can't stay healthy. Holy jumpers, man!
I mean, they're 3-6 now, Rico. They're in trouble. And what's crazy is they really should be 5-4. They should have beat the Jets and they should have beat the Bears. That's a really, really tough pill to swallow right now, being a Bengals fan.
And my man Koala Bear knows it, man. Lou Anaromo is making the Colts look real good. So who was the issue here? I'm just saying. By the way, my man Buffalo says Falcons and Browns defense is good. Patriots beat them both. Yeah, but they're obviously their defense is great, but offensively they can't do anything. So you're not really threatened by much. You're not threatened. They had no listen. The Browns, had they had an offense, maybe it could have been a different ball game. Right?
Oh, sure.
Was it that game that he had 5 sacks and they still lost that game?
Last week,
Yeah. So I mean, listen, it is what it is at the end of the day. It is what it is. So shall we get into the super chats, my good man?
We shall. Kick us off. I got to pee real quick. So do the first one.
Yeah. You go do your thing. Go to do a wash and break. We'll get into this super chat game. So folks, shout out to my guy Led Rapster. My man Money Mitch says, yo, 2 + 2 = 4. Bills beat Chiefs in regular season. I know where you're going with this. Time to be negative. 4th and 17. Really? Why were guys behind the first down markers? Gross. Time to be positive. Bishop and Harrison are the answer. BF is the best YouTube channel. I agree. We're rolling it right now. Here's the thing. The 4th and 17 was absolutely abysmal. That was absolutely disgusting. I was sick to my stomach. Here's why I was sick to my stomach. It's 4th and 17. These guys are getting ready. McDermott's like, I don't like what I see. Timeout. So they call a timeout to regroup, not only regroup, but give yourself more time to think about what you want to do and how you want to defend this offense that is about to come your way. And what pisses me more off is the fact that of all people to catch that football and of all defenses to run against a Pat Mahomes offense that's 4th and 17, they're desperate to make a play. Travis Kelce's the one you let catch the football? Are you kidding me? And you can see, I don't know what took place because there was some kind of breakdown. You can see Bernard look back and say, golly, like what? You're supposed to be here. So the all 22 is going to be fun. So I'm sure my man Z-Bot is going to break that all 22 down when it does come out. I hate that living in Canada, I don't have the opportunity to do all 22. It pisses me off. Canada is so whack for this type of stuff. We have such these stupid rules and these anyways, I'm not gonna get into it. It just makes me upset. But anyway, I'm gonna be living through my man Z-Bot for that. But that 4th and 17 was absolutely abysmal on the negative side. But on the positive side, how sexy is it to have Bishop and Harrison? It is great. It is absolutely great. And right when we think our defense is coming along, we have our corner, we have our defensive front, and we're about to get it going. And then Hoecht goes down. What a blow! What an absolute blow! But the fact that we saw Bishop standing up and needing to do something, we don't have to really worry about the safety room anymore as much. Love to see it. Harrison, he's only coming into his own. His first start, by the way, that means, hey, Trey White, take a back seat, big fella. Take a back seat. Side note, I don't know if you saw it. I saw it and I laughed. There was it was a dead play, and Mahomes throws the ball deep, and there's Bishop and Trey White in the backfield in the end zone, and Trey White goes to intercept the ball, but it's like the dead ball, so he knows. He jumps up and he misses it. I was like, this is why you're where you're supposed to be. You missed it. Did anybody else catch that? Because I caught that. I laughed to myself. I was like, and that's why you're where you're supposed to be. You're a backup, and we hope that you stay there and let my young buck, get in there and do some big things. So big shout out to Max Harrison, Cole Bishop, huge. That 4th and 17, they made up for it with the last play of the game when they absolutely sent the house and pressured Pat Mahomes, and he was off kiltered and threw that football. You love to see it. So they made up for it, but I hated that 4th and 17 got converted because we stopped that. We get the turnover on downs, and now you give Josh Allen great field position. We didn't get an opportunity to do that. Then I heard someone say, but that was just an arm punt. Or when he threw that interception to Max Harrison, knock it off. I hate the term arm punt. Can't stand it. It drives me nuts. But anyway, your thoughts. Did you want to touch on that 4th and 17?
It was gutting. It was the only reason why the game became what it became. If you stop that, the game is over. Like you said, if it's an incompletion, the Bills get the ball at the 50-yard line or right around it, up by 15 in the 4th quarter, and they put the football game away. I mean, this is why I said earlier, this is still the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, it is. They are the team that makes that play. Who else makes that play on 4th and 17? And the other thing is, who even goes for that? Like, who even has the stones to go for it on 4th and 17, much less convert it? It was nuts. And then of course, they get it. And like I said earlier, not only do you get it, but you score on it right after and get the 2-point conversion. It's just the most Chiefs thing ever. And it sucks because it was the blemishes like that kind of left a bit of a stain on an otherwise incredible performance from the defense, where like you get them in that situation where it's 4th and 17 and then you let them bail out by allowing that. Like Rashee Rice was wide open. So you're just glad it doesn't burn you, because once again, like,
was it Rashee Rice or was it Travis Kelce? I think it was
Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice caught it.
Rashee Rice? I thought it was Kelce. Okay.
Travis Kelce caught that wide open like 3rd and 12. That was on the left side.
Maybe it was because
later on in the game
by Travis Kelce that he caught, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, how do you let that guy catch that?" Anyway, it is what it is. What do we got? We got Matt. What is that? Matthew Royer. What's Royer saying?
Matt's saying the bad in this one is that he hates to see Hoecht go down like that. Prayers up. The good pass game and Harrison with the speed, no question. Pass game back in this one. I mean, this was one of the most remarkable performances of Allen's career. Highest completion percentage in franchise history, 3 total touchdowns. And then, Harrison was awesome to watch, shadowing Xavier Worthy. But unfortunately, like, this is a little bit bittersweet, losing Michael Hoecht, who really looked like he was going to be a spark for this defense coming off this suspension. An incredible outing against the Panthers last week. Brought that energy into this one, non-contact. You just hate to see it because it really looked like he was going to be something for this team, not just on the field, but really just like an energy plug. Like, I mean, the guy he seems like a guy's guy, but you also factor in that he was going to be kind of filling the void of another season-ending injury in your top dog in Ed Oliver. So yeah, no doubt, Matt, it's gut-wrenching losing Hoecht in this one, no question.
It's hate that. You guys already know how I feel about it. It's sunken heart. You know what I mean? You feel for the guy. You hate to see that. My man, Real Dan Echo. What up, Dan? Dan says, hey man, was at the KC Bills game last year when we snapped their streak. Needed this win after Jays crushed my soul last night. Me too, Dan. The Jays. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Bills. God bless the Fanatics. Rico, hit that horn, brother. I got you. Man, I'm not a baseball guy. I've never in my life watched a game of baseball, maybe an inning or two, and I was like, I'm done. Or highlights. I watched from pitch 1 all the way to the end, and man, best baseball game I've ever seen in my lifetime. It makes me have more respect for baseball, because I used to like pay attention to baseball a long time ago. I was a Mariners guy, right? When it was Griffey and the boys and Randy Johnson and them boys back in the day. So it was nice then. And playing baseball video games, you got to learn a lot of what everything meant. So I'm explaining the game, and it got me falling more in love with the game again because you knowing all the rules and stuff. But man, the Jays had every opportunity to put that game away, and they didn't. But that freaking Yamamoto guy, this guy was something else, man. That Yamamoto, shoot, that guy was something else. Anyway, big shout out to my man Real Dan Echo. Appreciate you, bro. Let's get to what's Richie. What's Richie saying?
By the way, best baseball series I've ever watched. The 18-inning game the other night was the best game I've ever watched. And
is that right? Okay.
I had a ton of people agreeing with me, and I got a little flack for it. But the Jays have a lot of ties to Buffalo. They're farm teams in Buffalo. They played in Buffalo during COVID. I think in terms of proximity, they're the closest team to Buffalo in the MLB. That felt like is Billsy, like the amount of. That's what it felt like. I mean, dude. What a series, and shout out to the Jays for an incredible performance. It was gut-wrenching watching them lose, especially to that team. I mean, how do you root for the Dodgers unless you grew up as a Dodgers fan? Like, Shohei Ohtani gets what, $750 million, and he was like the fourth best player for them in that series, which is just insane.
And he was choosing between going to the freaking Jays or the Dodgers, and he chose the Dodgers. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
And Vladdy almost hit that walk. Like, he almost had the walk-off. It was at the warning track. Great series. All right. Richie's saying, remember who we have, big fella. Hey, and shout out to Pierre. When you pick the Bills to win every game, it looks good in moments like this. Pierre was the only, me and Rico, we're fools. Before a game, we're saying, listen, we want to be wrong, but we think we're right and thinking the Bills are losing this. So shame on us. Praise to Pierre, who nailed this one. He tweeted out and said, listen, we're getting this dub. The dub is what they got. We should have remembered who we had. And listen, we knew who we had. We needed to see that version of him. And that's what we've been saying. For everybody, I've seen a couple comments. Oh, you owe so-and-so an apology. No, I don't. I saw it today. This is exactly what I had said all along. I said the reason why we are pointing out the flaws in this pass game right now, especially when it comes to Josh Allen, is because we know what he's capable of. And this is why we're looking at it, because we know if he turns that on, what this team is able to do. I think you did see that this afternoon. The guy turned it on. This was a switch that hadn't been flipped other than the second half of that Ravens game. And you saw what it resulted in. The best performance of the year for this football team. No question about it. So we remembered who we have. I think today, Josh Allen remembered who he was. I think that's probably the best way to put it. Josh Allen remembered, I can sling the ball down the field. I can run the football. I can be efficient while also being, able to stretch the field, Rico. We saw that from Josh Allen today.
I love it. You know what? Remember, I love that line. That was a bar, by the way. Yo, I didn't know you could spit like that. Go ahead, boy.
Come on. You know I'm good with it. Hit me with that beat. It reminds me like, remember when we gave Deion Dawkins the beat that one time? We just let him roll with it.
Let him roll with it.
It's tough to do it on the spot, funny. Man. It's fun.
That was good. We got to bring that back up.
That was good. That was.
My man Richard says, yo, you boys got me running through walls today, man. Yo, we hype, man. We hype too. It's been
Richie's monkey.
We get back into the win column, man. That's what we love, man. All right, my man Edu Lock says, yo, love what I saw from Bishop. He was a different animal today. I'm hoping this is a trend for him going forward. Man, do we ever? We hope this is one of those things where it's clicked and it stays clicked and he's ready to go and he becomes Pro Bowler, all pro, and we have a guy that we don't got to worry about for a long, long time. Love to see it big time. And he's a big boy, man. I was looking at the size because when he smacked Kelsey in that end zone, I was like, yo, how heavy is this man? That boy is 6'2", 250, like 210. That's a
yeah. You don't lay Kelsey out like that unless you got some thighs on you. I mean, let's be honest.
You got some lumber on you, bro. That boy laid the lumber on that brother. So good on.
Listen, the hype on Bishop was there, right? I mean, we've been waiting to see this. It wasn't like he was coming off the streets. I mean, this is a second round draft pick that you're waiting to be the guy, and we've been hearing shades of it, and you saw it against the Chiefs, no question.
Big facts. Get Right says positive. Love the game plan. Offensive. By the way, big shout out to Positive. He's been a member of ours for 11 months. Big shout out to my man. Get Right. Positive says, yo, love the game plan. Offensive defense was consistent. Absolutely correct with that. Negative, try to give away the game with the missed field goal and letting them back down the field in 3 plays. Superlative, Cole Bishop. Oh, yes. And I got to say this, letting them back in the game. That's the one thing. So that's why I was asking Bot, would you have kicked the field goal and iced him for good, because that was in Prater's that was his range. That was very capable. It just happened to miss it. That was second missed field goal of the year. I wonder if that makes them say, "Hey, where's my guy? You mean Tyler Bass? You have a strained calf. We're gonna put you on IR." We never know how that plays out, So
speaking of which, we haven't even heard anything about Tyler Bass. Nothing. And I'm wondering, and not because Prater missed it. I love what Prater's done. I mean, look, it was a great kick. It hit the damn upright. That's what was it, a 55-yarder? Yeah, I mean, it was on line, hits the upright. It happens. I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, call Bass." I've just been curious about this for a little while, especially with Haristen being activated off the IR recently. I started thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, what's the plan? Is there even a plan? We haven't even heard his name.
No need to bring him back. No need to bring him back until I was asking the thigh doc that. I'm like, what would you do? Now you got Buddy he's got a strained calf. He was limited all week and he misses a field goal. Call it what you want. Was it because of the calf? Was it because it was just on the nerves? Who knows what it was? But is this reason to bring back Tyler Bass? He's like, no need to bring him back. If you don't need to bring him back, and if it's not necessary, leave him on the sideline until he's ready to go. I was like, shoot, is that going to be all year? Geez, what takes place here? So very interesting position to be in. Or maybe he's part of a trading scenario where, we'll give you my kicker, Tyler Bass, and Prater's doing it, the 41-year-old. Can't see that happening, but it's interesting nonetheless. What do we got here? We got Josh. JR comes in and says, this was a good game, but these receivers suck besides Shakir. The Bills need a receiver ASAP before the trade deadline. That's going to be the hot topic the next few days. What will the Bills do? Will the Bills decide to do something in that field? Something tells me they are. I mean, if they're looking and they have been looking and the receiver room is not as where it's supposed to be, then I can't see McDermott not going and Bean not looking that route. So look for them to do something in that.
We got to give a shout out to Josh, by the way. That said member for 66 months, dude. Come on.
Shout out to my man JR.
I'm not much of a mathematician, but that's 5.5 years according to my numbers. Wow.
You got it right, baby. You got it right. Well, speaking of numbers, 57 months for my guy Matt Montgomery. What up, Matt? Members, if you guys are looking to be members and support BF, listen, for those that are doing it, it's for the love of what we do. You love being here. You love just chatting with us, the community. We always appreciate it. We never beg for it, but we appreciate it always. So it helps out the brand. It helps us get the equipment that we need, all the things that we need to do to make this thing work for y'all. We appreciate y'all very much. So appreciate you. Matt comes in and says the rep with Worthy versus Haristen, and an oh shit moment of the game. The rookie is here. Man,
yeah, that's the one we talked about earlier. That go route down the sideline. He's shadowing him the whole way. Dude, it was amazing.
But did you see the size difference between the two?
I don't think I thought of it. No.
If you go back and watch these guys go back and forth, look at the size difference. It looks like Harrison is much bigger than Xavier Worthy, and Harrison's like 5'11". So that is actually pretty freaking cool, man. So shout out to.
We got Xavier Worthy. He's 5'11", and according to my sources, Harrison's also 5'11". So it should be even.
It should.
You're telling me not. It's not.
Look at that rep. You go look at that rep. Bro, it don't look the same, man. These two look like there's two different cats doing two different things, man. So
he's just got a couple extra inches of that dog in him. Harrison, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
Couple extra inches of that dog in him, boy. I love it. All right, here we go. Oh, by the way, speaking of having that dog in you, listen, Kate Brennan, welcome becoming a YouTube member. Love to see it. Not only that, listen, we got another one joining us. Hey, Johnny, come on in.
Come hang with the boys.
Listen, if you guys
come hang with the fellas.
Listen, if you guys are trying to join, it's that easy. Join in, come in, add new members to the squad. We always welcome new members. It's always support. We love to see it. By the way, Redlands 07. Congratulations. Good game. And see you guys in the playoffs. Go Chiefs. You know what? Chiefs fans
always respect, man. Right?
Always with respect. I'll tell you, Z-Bot's made the most Chiefs fans friendships ever. I think you have respect for a lot of Chiefs fans. Do you not?
I do.
How do you do it?
I do. Begrudgingly, because I wish it was under a different circumstance, but lovingly because they have been phenomenal to me, and they have been very cordial and supportive. I've had nothing but great things to say. Honestly, I've never had a bad run-in with a Chiefs fan, not one. In Redlands, you are proving my theory. It's been great. Absolutely. Seriously.
1,000%. I can't say it enough. By the way, I'm me for life. Listen, appreciate the super chat, but if you have a comment, don't super chat again. We'll try to find your comment in the chat if we can find it. And we'll try to get you read up if you have a comment. But if you're just showing some love to show some love, we'll take it every time. We appreciate that love. Get Right says, if we were to lose, I would have got 1,000 troll texts. I got crickets after this game. Do you feel, although we won and it helps with seeding, the win in regular season is a non-factor? At first, I'll speak for myself. At first, I thought if we lose or win this game, it doesn't matter. What really matters to us is when we get to the playoffs. But every year is so different. So every win freaking matters. At the end of the day, it matters because now instead of being 5-3, we're 6-2, and we're heavily into the mix. Because I guarantee you, the Chiefs don't like being 5-4 right now. One game above 500 going into the bye, they absolutely hate being in the position they were. They would have loved going into the bye with a win. So yes, Get Right. It does matter. This win does mean something, and it boosts confidence of this team. Don't forget, winning is a cure for a lot of things. So if you were going through some things, that win just made you say, okay, we got this. All right, let's get on to the next move. That loss, if we lost this game, boy, things would have just been magnified even higher. So I'll take that as a plus positive for this big win. Bot, you got anything for that?
I got a ton on it, but I'll keep it simple. This game is completely a non-factor in terms of how you view playing the Chiefs in the postseason. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. This is the 5th consecutive time the Bills have beaten the Chiefs in the regular season. The 4 prior did not mean anything towards beating them in the postseason. So this one means the same as the other ones do. However, this game for the regular season means a ton in a variety of different ways. I'll just give you a couple here. The Bills scored 28 points in this game, Rico. That is the second most points scored by any team against the Chiefs all season long. They also held the Chiefs to 21. The Chiefs had scored 28 plus in 5 consecutive games going into this one. The Bills in this game improved to 6-2 to keep alive in a very, very tight and electric and wide open 1-seed race in the AFC. They stay alive and right in the thick of things against the New England Patriots for the race of the division title. And if the Bills beat Miami and the Patriots lose to the Bucs this upcoming weekend, just like that, the Bills are back atop of the AFC by a half game, or the AFC East. But beyond all that, you just saw the Buffalo Bills prove they can step up in the pass game. They still have it in that department. An unbelievable performance from Josh Allen and these tight ends. You just saw that the Bills can run against anybody, and that James Cook each and every week will be one of the best offensive players in the NFL. And above everything else, you learn that this defense is coming along. This is now 10 consecutive quarters of really good defense. You are seeing pressure being generated that has never been generated by this defense before. You are seeing young studs step up, the future of this defense. Guys like Cole Bishop and Max Harrison, who we've been singing the praises of all evening on this episode. Sean McDermott, flowers for what he's done with this defense over the last 2.5 games. You learned a lot about the Buffalo Bills in a game that mattered a ton. And the other thing to really put this all together is the fact that the Chiefs fall to 5-4. You said it, Rico. This is as bad of really, for a team like Kansas City to be a game above 500 at the halfway point with the schedule they got facing them post-bye here, this was a huge, huge game. Huge game. And it's got nothing to do with the postseason in terms of these two playing against each other.
Couldn't have said it better, man. That's huge, and that's why these wins matter. At first, I was like, it doesn't really matter. It does matter. Absolutely does matter. So let's keep it rolling with my man Bartek. What up, Bartek? My man Bartek says, hey, 8 different players with 10 receptions. Incredible. This is what we were talking about, opening up the playbook. Hopefully we didn't show all our cards against these Chiefs because it will bite us. I mean, Andy Reid's gonna come. I mean, listen, that's if they make the playoffs.
That was one. I'm glad he's bringing this up. This is one thing that I thought was another benefit of the game that I didn't think to bring up until Bartek just, by the way, shout out to you, BT. I didn't think of this until he just brought it to my attention. I thought walking away from this game, one of the things I also loved about it was the Bills' ability offensively to perform the way they did without like diving into a bag of tricks that seemed like they hadn't gotten to yet this entire season. They ran the ball well. They ran a ton of those screens, which they always do. And then the deep passing games was just stuff that developed and they were able to hit. I didn't look at that game and think, oh, Brady really went into the depths of his playbook to pull out this week 9 game. I just didn't get that vibe at all.
I'm not trying to be a funny guy, but I don't think Brady even has a deep bag of tricks. It's just what it is. We've been asking this guy to give us something. This week, we just happened to execute what he's been putting out there. His deep bag of tricks, I don't think he got one. I think his little bag, his little lunch pail, and that's how big it is. He don't got a big old Santa bag of tricks where he can dig deep into that bag. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to joke around. I don't think he got it like that, but it was really nice to see. I'll be on the positive. It's really nice to see that we executed, because that's what it comes down to, execution. And we didn't really show. I mean, we ran the power runs that we did. They adjusted in the second half. And then we found ways to now use Allen's legs. And Allen showed out today. What? He had 20 yards rushing today, 19 yards rushing. So
yeah, just south of 300 total yards, 3 touchdowns. It was a great outing.
It's a good day. It's a good day for the boys. By the way, Bartek meant to say 10 receiving yards. I got you, brother. I got you, brother.
10 receivers. 10 guys with a catch in this game.
For sure. And Valerie Blemmer, or Blemmer, shall I say, my excitement's officially reignited with the Bills. Loving these wins, especially the dub over Kansas City. Defense showed up, minus the 4th and 17, of course. Still got work to do, but man, I'm happy. Listen, we are all happy. Valerie, we are all of you, and you are all of us, because I'll tell you right now, we are thrilled with this win. Richard Fresh, strap in, boys. Great win tonight, but ask yourself this. Would it be appropriate to... Richie's always on this album. Would it be appropriate real send off the Ralph if we didn't make it a cardiac arrest? I mean, listen, the Bills are always going to be that way, man. They're going to they're going to make you sit at the edge of your seat. I went into this game just kind of like, I didn't expect a whole lot. I thought this was going to be one of those tough games. We're going to keep it competitive and then blow it near the end. But we were in control from start to finish and loved every bit of it. By the way, Dios, what is that? Am I reading that right? DOS?
DOSF?
All right. DOSF says, yo, let's talk about how good Josh played today. No overthrows, took some bad sacks in the moments, but definitely MVP Josh came out. Love you guys. We love you too, brother. Appreciate you. Listen, man, Josh threw the ball away once and had 2 incompletions today.
Yeah.
You know what the big difference today I noticed with Josh? Josh did not bail from the pocket.
Totally.
He stayed in the pocket. And the 2 throws that he made that I realized this guy stayed in the pocket, the throw to Kincaid, when he had Kincaid on the crosser. Had he bailed, he wouldn't have seen Kincaid. There would have been guys in his way, but he stayed in the pocket, trusted the guys, and delivered. Same thing for that pass to Elijah Moore down the sideline. He trusted the line, stayed within it, and delivered. Not a whole lot of this backyard football by Josh. And I think Josh knew it. Yep. He went back to the fundamentals, doing what you're supposed to do, trust your mechanics, and that's exactly what it looked like today. Josh was just doing too much. He was just doing too much, man. When you do too much, you're hurting the team, right? Nobody can really stay in structure. So the fact that he stayed within structure, did what he needed to do, and he had a really good game, official game. Love to see it.
Another I could think of too, and just allowing things to develop. Yeah. Shakir, like it wasn't a slant or a screen, but it was a crossing pattern that he allowed to develop.
Yeah.
Where Shakir was able to get to the middle of the field. And by the time that occurred, there was enough space open on the left side of the field where Shakir was able to grab that and just go. Yep. And if Allen were to have rolled, like for instance, to the right side of the field, and if like say he didn't need to, but he bailed the pocket, went to the right side of the field, well, then that throw's not there. Right. But if you stay in the pocket, those easy throws become even easier and they are readily available. And I think we saw a good amount of that today. I didn't get the sense that Allen was panicked in this game. I go back to the Falcons game, Rico. I mean, it looked like Josh Allen was just under siege, right? This game is completely different. I thought I saw a composed 17 all game long, mostly. There was one series, Rico, he took 2 consecutive sacks. You could tell he was frustrated. Things weren't working out. Other than that, it was pretty static. It was pretty efficient. Now, I keep using the word efficient, but how couldn't I with the game that it was and how he executed? But it was pretty consistent, I think I should say, in terms of him staying in the pocket and finding guys, allowing plays to develop. Great performance. Unbelievable.
Couldn't agree more. Well said, my man. And last but not least, we got our man Richie Fresh says, "Yo, bot, check your Ven. Much love, brother. Check your Ven."
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna check. I'll check my phone after this. I use the phone as the webcam.
You can. By the way, I don't know how bot does it.
Secret.
His phone currently right now is being used as his webcam, which is absolutely wild.
Listen, we're a cinematic production over here. As we don't mess around.
I freaking love it, man. I love it.
Tell you what, you pay monthly for that thing. You better get your money's worth.
You better use it.
Tell you what. Come on.
You damn Skippy. Well, I will say this, though. Today was a big win for the Bills. And McDermott really, you could tell just by the look on McDermott's face. Take a look at this guy's face. You can't tell me,
my guy.
Coach A happy. Look at that face, eh? Let me get, listen, here's the funny thing. McDermott will wear the glasses during the game, but won't wear it in pressers. You know what I mean? I need my guy Sean McGlasses to show up in the locker room looking
You know who liked it?
Listen, at first I hated
Caroline. Caroline liked it. She said he is cute. That's what Caroline said today.
If he's gonna give me W's, he can be as cute as he wants to. I love it. By the way, before we get into this video, my man Fluffy Panda, what up, Fluff? Fluff says, "Yo, to quote Major League, not bad for a bunch of has-beens and never will be's, eh? if this is how good we are with who we have, imagine how scary we'd be with top talent." Man, oh man, you ain't lying, brother. Give us the top talent, and this team could be very scary. We're already a scary team. We just get in our own way. We get in our own way. So we'll see how that all shakes out in the end and what we do with this trade deadline looming. All right. So without further ado, let's play this clip from our guy, Mr. Sean McDermott, in the locker room. I kind of love seeing these videos and see how that plays out. Let's see how happy he does.
All right, hey, man, I am so proud of everyone in this locker room, man. The whole organization, that's what it took, right? Journey of a season right here. Highs, lows, we're finding out about ourselves right here, man. We got a lot of grit, a lot of heart, a lot of love for one another in this room right here. Yes, sir. And that's how a season happens. You come together, you get stronger and stronger and stronger. It tries to tear you apart, you don't let it. Yes, sir. Right? Even the game tonight was a small example of what I'm talking about. Just the game, and it's going to continue that way. You got to stay together. I am so damn proud of you guys! Hey, y'all boys.
Oh, come
on. Hey, man, I am
You
so proud of everyone in this locker room, man.
You couldn't give us more than that.
Let's go. He almost ripped the sweatshirt in half.
He was pumped. Listen, how are you not pumped when you just went against your mentor, if you will, the guy that you learned so much under, and you beat him? So, but the problem is you gotta do it again when it matters.
Yeah.
Gotta do it again when it matters.
You know, it needs to be said. I understand these guys have lost 4 consecutive times to this team in the postseason, but don't let this get lost on you. This is the modern day dynasty. This team will go down in the history books as one of the greatest teams in professional sports. This Bills team has beaten them 5 consecutive times in the regular season. I understand, the postseason's what matters the most, and they haven't been able to get it done.
Right.
But the fact that they've beaten that team 5 straight times just shows you how good of a team the Bills have been, right? And how unfortunate it is that they've been on the wrong side of this dynasty, because they've proven to you how close they've been to them. But of course, that narrow gap has been all the difference. But the fact that they've beaten this team, Rico, 5 straight times in the regular season, man, that's something else.
Well, you know what else is something else? Peter Schrager seems to know what's going down.
Schrager knows ball. He knows more than you and me, that's for sure.
Peter Schrager taking the Bills. Well, Bart Scott's a hater, so I knew he was going to go that way. And you got Big Joe, and then you got our guy, Mr. Harry Douglas, doing it. So listen, man, we handle business the way we need to handle business, and you love to see it. And last but not least, I mean, the W's came, and we got to talk about these W's, man.
Come on, man, big dog.
Come on, Bosa.
WWW. Big dog. Big dog.
There it is.
Ah! Yes, sir. First game at Highmark, baby.
That's right. It was his first home game.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I saw Jackson Hawes in there. I saw a stat. I'll have to confirm it, but I'm going to take the word for it. I think the Bills are now 6-0 when Jackson Hawes has a target. Yeah.
That's craziness to me. I think it's when he catches. Is it a target or is it a reception?
I don't know. It could either one.
It doesn't matter. Well, listen, folks. I think this is a great way to put a button in this whole thing.
Definitely.
Great game today. Can't go wrong with getting a dub. And you know, we say this all the time. Just everything just tastes so much better the next day when you're going about your business and you can talk about the big KC Chiefs win. I have a colleague of mine that's a big KC fan, and I need to figure out what I'm gonna do. Maybe just drop by his desk, maybe write a note for him on his. I don't know what I'm. Be
classy with it, because you know what comes around the corner.
You can't go overboard.
Yes.
I might just put a little sticker of a Bills. I don't know. I got to figure something out that make him recognize. Yo, I was in your office. You know what's good. I may have not seen you, but you know what's up. But great way to win. Bot, what do you want to put you want to put a button in this? What do you got for putting a button in this whole thing?
Totally. Well, first and foremost, a huge shout out to all of you tuning in. We had just under 4,000 of you concurrent across all platforms on the post-game show here, celebrating a massive W. So huge shout out to you guys. These wins are so much more fun when we get to celebrate them with all of you. So a huge shout out to everybody who stopped by this evening. You guys are the best. What a game. What a W. A massive turning point type W at the midway point of the season here. So many ramifications, I think, could be felt from this game. We'll see it moving forward here. But this was such a statement W in so many different ways. The Bills played complimentary football for pretty much a full 60-minute duration. Wow. An incredible W to move to 6-2 and knock the Chiefs to an unprecedented 5-4. Before we bounce out, we want to give a quick shout out to our good friends over at Sleeper. We did not hit, Rico, by the way. It was my fault. We put Xavier Worthy in for a touchdown. We should have went Rashee Rice. He was the one who's been cooking. I went Worthy, but I didn't factor in.
Wait, did we choose Worthy for a touchdown? Really?
I did. It was my doing, and I apologize. I didn't factor in that Mad Max was going to be shadowing that guy all game. So that's on me. We'll get him again this week against the Dolphins. In the meantime, you can join us by clicking the link in the description below. Click that, sign up for Sleeper. Once you do, you will immediately get a free $20 entry that you can use in week 10 coming up here, or on football or on hockey, basketball, you name it. Sleeper's got you covered. Once you use that free $20 entry, you will get a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit using the promo code BF25. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently available in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper in the link in the description below today. Before we sign off, one more super chat coming in from Dio, who's saying also, you guys think we can get Waddle? Random stray, but F the Pats. The Bills are coming. The amount of shit I've seen talk from the Pats is laughable. Yeah, I know. Patriots, they've been down bad for 5 years. Those poor guys. I feel so sorry for them. I feel so sorry they had to wait this long to be back. Waddle, I mean, we've seen crazier, right? I mean, we just watched the Browns gift Joe Flacco to the Bengals.
Yeah.
For the life of me, I cannot. I think it would be malpractice for the Dolphins to give the Bills Waddle. Nobody has owned, since Josh Allen's entered the league, nobody has owned one team quite like the Bills have owned the Dolphins. To give them what is currently one of your best assets would be insane to me. So, Dio, I think it's no, but if it happened, I would be mind blown.
And to get them, you'd have to give up. They're looking for a first, probably 2 firsts, maybe, and beyond that. I mean, listen, Waddle, nice. But I'm sure we can get something like Waddle elsewhere. So we'll see how it all shakes out at the end. By the way, take a look at that. Tell me who got a game ball.
Good for him, man. I'm so happy for him.
Your boy got. Look at the smile on that brother's face. He definitely got his game ball. Coach. Look at Coach McDermott's face. He like, yeah, I got it. Now, before we get out of here, what's this tell you? This look is interesting to me. This is like, man, I remember this feeling. This feels good. And I was a big part of the team, man. And I'm soaking this all in. This is what this Poyer look gives me. I'm soaking this all in, and I'm not taking any of this time for granted. Big win by the Bills. You love to see it. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of smiling. It's about a week ago that we heard Josh Allen say his grandmother called him and said, I just want to see you smile. That whole locker room is ecstatic. They're smiling. Couple of great W's. They just strung along here post-bye, coming off 2 consecutive losses. Another big one coming up here against the team you have rolled. Can you continue to do it? We shall see. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to celebrate this W. I'll be back with you tomorrow night, Monday evening on the smoke break. Going to rewatch this game. We'll take a look at some film, dive into what we liked in this football game, and there's plenty to dive into. Rico, you got a good spot set up for you Tuesday, because on the Rico Report Tuesday, you'll be able to dive into the trade deadline and that goes down with that craziness.
Well, baby, if you're not doing anything, jump on and we can talk about it. It'd be you, me, and my man's coming onto the show. We can do a trio show with my man Carl Jones. Ooh, that should be good.
Listen, the Bills go crazy. You know, I can't turn down that invite.
All it is you just jump on there and say, I'm on here. We can talk about it. So hopefully, we got something to talk about.
No doubt. But in the meantime, 2.5 hours in the books on a post-game show, coming off the Bills' 6th victory of the 2025 season, a big victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. We can't wait to talk more about it upcoming this week, and of course, transition into talking about the trade deadline and the big Week 10 showdown with the Miami Dolphins. But for now, enjoy this W. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll talk to you later in the week. Much love as always. And once again, big shout out, nearly 4,000. Much love to you guys. Dio flitting one more in, saying last one, Mad Max jersey is incoming. Lock it in. Wear it in.
You better get it.
This upcoming week. Perfect time to get it. Perfect time for us to sign out and give you all our love. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Talk to you this week. Go Bills.